Caicedo, who not surprisingly after travelling with Ecuador is on the bench, and the other change is Disasi. So Sanchez is in goal, Reece James the captain, Badiashile for what is his first Premier League outing of the campaign alongside Thiago Silva, Cucurella at left back. As we're underway, Ugo Chukwu, Enzo Fernandez, Gallagher, Sterling, Palmer and Nicholas Jackson. So Chelsea are all in royal blue, they're playing from left to right, they're attacking the Gallagate end as we look, for those of you who know St James's Park and Newcastle United, well, they've made this place a fortress under Eddie Howe, but particularly of late they've won their last 4 home games in the Premier League without conceding. And Chelsea, well, as we know from recent exploits in the top flight, 4-1 at Tottenham and that thrilling game at Stamford Bridge against Manchester City, 4-4. If we see anywhere near the same level of excitement, then we could be in for a cracker.
Well, it's all about confidence football, Ian, and Chelsea have had some positive results recently, and that'll have done the world of good. And but it's a hard place to come, this. Newcastle play a very high tempo, the crowd get right behind them, it's very difficult.
Referee is Simon Hooper in his orange goalkeeping, referee's jersey, black shorts. He's out in the middle.
Well, he doesn't move much, does he? So if you want to know where the ref is, just look at the centre circle.
Yeah, I was just looking across at the. We've got Sanchez in the customary green, and then the luminous outfit of Nick Pope, but the orange jersey for Simon Hooper, the referee, out in the middle, as Newcastle United are awarded an early free kick, and Kieran Trippier, for what is his 500th club appearance of his career, to take it as right back. Livramento playing left back, hoisted high, right-footed, long to the edge of the area. Miley was there, Lascelles was up from the back as well, and in the end it's booted clear by Enzo Fernandez. Bouncing ball in the centre circle, and actually Trippier did well just to tuck it back towards goalkeeper Pope, away towards our right hand side, who floats it away downfield, and the bushy haired Cucurella climbs high to head it away, and then Badiashile will let this one settle back towards Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 is how it finished in the early game. Regular updates from John Murray from that particular game at the Etihad. We've got commentary later on after Sports Report of Brentford Arsenal, but it's the usual goal service. We'll be going racing in a short time to Haydock as well for the Betfair chase, as Sterling picks it up on that far side, the left. He enjoys playing against Newcastle United. Scored 8 goals in his career. That was lovely control from James to kill the ball dead. He looked to try and play the ball in towards Palmer, but Newcastle United have won it back. Gordon to Joel Linton. Challenge comes in though straight away from Ugo Chukwu, and now it's with Palmer on the inside to Gallagher. Newcastle United are trying to force Chelsea away from the penalty area at the moment. Here is Palmer. Seemed a little bit preoccupied about Gordon, but they've kept the ball very, very well. And James now with a cross is going to go to safety. Early goal, though, in the Premier League is at Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
To Nottingham Forest, a downward header by Elanga. There's a fault, really, of Gross. Gross of Brighton, he stood off Gibbs White, who strode down the right, aiming for the head of Wood, went to Elanga on the far post. Fine textbook header. Forest 1, Brighton 0.
And still without a clean sheet this season. Isak lifted in towards the penalty area by Guimarães. Cucurella will clear the ball away. Let's get an update from Haydock, the Betfair chase. John Hunt.
Halfway Protectorate, last year's winner, leading narrowly from Brave Man's Game. Both have been jumping superbly in. Royal Pigai back in third place, and Corach Rambler, the Grand National winner, last of the 4.
Lively start here at St James's Park. Sterling wins it, finds Jackson running at the heart of the Newcastle defence, enters the penalty area, tried then left-footed to pass the ball out towards Sterling. Just can't help but feel that maybe it was a wasted opportunity by Chelsea.
John, Ian, we just saw 2 chances there. Isak, for me, hit it, great ball by Guimarães, hit it on the volley, take it.
Gordon looks to play that ball through towards Isak, cleared away by Sanchez. The crowd have responded, but it's been an electrifying pace.
It is, it's end-to-end stuff. It's a very open game, and that's why I think Chelsea will enjoy today. You know, there's not a team going to park the bus against them. Newcastle like to win home games, so there will be space, and we'll see a lot of goal-scoring opportunities.
Here is Fabian Schär. He actually didn't play for Switzerland against Kosovo and Romania during the international break. He was an unused substitute, certainly against Kosovo. He's had a bit of a hamstring problem. But Schär is back. Willett, though, picking up an ankle knock in training is a setback, especially considering that they are depleted with so many players who are missing through injury, and a schedule between now and the turn of the year very, very intense for all sides really who are playing in European competition. Newcastle United are away to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday, bottom of the group of course with 4 points. They really need to take something from Paris, and of course it goes without saying that BBC Radio 5 Live will be there as the Champions League returns next week. We've got 3 games for you: Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle on the Tuesday, an early start on the Wednesday as we go to Istanbul, Galatasaray against Manchester United, and then Arsenal against Lens. The World Service have just joined us, so wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company, and a warm welcome on a chilly afternoon in the northeast of England. Under the clear blue skies, Newcastle United against Chelsea, where it's 0-0. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 is how it finished. Forest lead Brighton by a goal to 0. James waits to take a throw on this near side, the right. Finds Palmer, and Gordon gets a knee in there, and it goes out of play for a throw as Jesus Perez gets his instructions across. As we're going to go racing to Haydock, the Betfair Chase, John Hunt.
4 of them set out, they're over the 4th last, but only 2 of them look like they're going to contest the finish. Royal Pagaille and Brave Man's Game, they've quickly gone on. The Grand National winner Corach Rambler staying on in 3rd place, but 8 lengths back. Protectorat is the bitter disappointment. He's a long last, taking the next fence. That was the 3rd last. Royal Pagaille is making Brave Man's Game fight for this, and back in 3rd, 7 lengths away is Corach Rambler. 2nd last fence, and Brave Man's Game's going to have to up his game because Royal Pagaille led him over the 2nd last. Royal Pagaille, Brave Man's Game having to battle. He's still a length and a half away in 2nd place. Corach Rambler's close to within 5 lengths in 3rd. Royal Pagaille coming down towards the final fence, then the Betfair Chase. Royal Pagaille, he's up and over safely. Brave Man's Game is going to be beaten once again in 2nd. Corach Rambler has run well a close 3rd, but the big race, the Betfair Chase, will go to Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch, the jockey, as Royal Pagaille hits a grade 1. He beats in 2nd place Brave Man's Game, Corach Rambler, and the big disappointment of the race, Protectorat, a long last.
Thank you, John. Haven't missed anything whilst we were away with that Betfair Chase at Haydock. 5 Live, the World Service, also available on BBC Sounds. Newcastle United 0, Chelsea 0, but in the Championship, Stoke City 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Blackburn, who've won their last 3 away from home, have taken the lead. Stoke have been going well, actually, unbeaten in 5. Peterborough lead Burton by a goal to 0. Wrexham are leading Morecambe by a goal to 0 in League 2. Wrexham 4th in the table. John McMahon, the caretaker manager of Morecambe, after Derek Adams left to take charge at Ross County, and Lincoln lead Barnsley by a goal to 0 as Chelsea are on the attack, and it's Cucurella to Gallagher out towards Palmer, 10 yards in from the right touchline, looks to try and clip the ball back in towards Cucurella, but Newcastle deal with that and get the ball away as Cucurella running back, and it will be Chelsea in possession. Chris Watson.
Well, it's a good tempo of the game here, but a lot of sloppy passing at the minute. When it's deep and there's no pressure, yes, it's nice to watch, but in the final third we're not seeing the quality.
We'll go to Luton Town, Crystal Palace, John Southall.
Luton 0, Palace 0, couple of chances for Palace. Elise right edge of the area, wide of the left-hand post, then Odson Edouard turned 14 yards out, poor finish straight at Kaminsky. Luton 0, Palace 0.
That is Shiel. His only appearance was actually against Blackburn in the League Cup, where in fact he got on the score sheet that particular night as Gallagher able to turn, the England international, running forward. Strong run by Gallagher, enters the penalty area, gets the shot away too, right-footed, across the face of goal, out for a goal kick.
Well, I think Gumaret is a midfield melee. They didn't pick Gallagher up. He drops deep, picks it up. Nobody goes to him till he enters the 18-yard box, and really he should have done better. He had time to find his spot. He tried to go for that far corner across the goalkeeper, but goes well wide.
Is that the one thing when you look at him that he needs to add to his game, goals?
Yeah. He loves. Listen, he's an attacking player. You can say that. He likes to play forward. He's not a defensive midfield player, and he's going to be judged on creating goals and obviously scoring them. And that's his job in the team.
Phil Parkinson's Wrexham have got off to a good start. They lead 2-0 at home to Morecambe. Fleetwood 0, Stevenage 1 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date. Palmer couldn't get the ball forward. It was Livramento who was tight behind him. Livramento, who joined Chelsea's youth system, age 9, never made any appearances before he eventually moved on to Southampton for, what was it, £32 million. And he moved on to £5 million, and then it was Newcastle who bought him for 32 million. Livramento, so Southampton made a tidy profit on him. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1. Portsmouth, who are one of the leaders of League One, unbeaten in 27 games and have fallen behind as Jackson back to Fernandez. Gallagher lays it out towards Cucurella. Chelsea seeing a lot of the ball. Stelling coming inside off that left touchline. There though is Trippier, and Almiron deep plays it back towards Cher, and it's a square ball across the back to Lascelles, and now Trippier on that far side, the Newcastle right back. 10 minutes play. Let's get news of that goal from Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
Yeah, that 8.5-month unbeaten run for Pompey's looking a little shaky now. 1-0 Blackpool, goal scored by Owen Dale. He was here as a Portsmouth player last season. He scored in front of the Fratton end from close range. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1.
Just the one goal to tell you about in the Premier League at the 3 o'clock. Forest lead Brighton by a goal to 0. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. It was the result in the early kick-off. We've got commentary coming up from Brentford at 5:30. Joe Linton, who was sent off after only coming on as a substitute in that much talked about World Cup qualifier Brazil against Argentina during the week. Guimarães played for both games for Brazil, incidentally. He returns to the Newcastle side after a ban. Trippier sends over the cross, and trying to get on the end of it was Joe Linton. Chelsea repel it. Gallagher now heads it towards Palmer. Got a chance to run into a bit of space. Actually takes it back into his own half. Backheels the ball, keeps it in play. The beneficiary was Gordon for Newcastle. Inside, Miley lets it come across his body. Right-footed, passes the ball out towards that far side. Attacking the Leesy's end, right corner of the area. Almiron to Miley. Trippier now. One touch, sends across deep towards the far post, drifts out of play for a goal kick. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, again, it's just that quality in the final third, isn't it? There's some good movement in the back four, coming out, both teams coming out from the back into midfield, linking to the strikers. But it's when they get in that final third, that's where we're looking for the quality, and we've not seen it.
Just like to extend our best wishes to John Nicholson, who's a football writer for Football 365. He's an avid 5 Live listener. And he often says that football is the most important of the least important things in life. So I go and I speak for everybody concerned with the football department at BBC Radio 5 Lounge to wish you all the best in your recovery. 0-0 here at St James's Park. So we know that Forest are leading Brighton by a goal to 0. Brighton still to keep a clean sheet, as are Sheffield United. They're at home to Bournemouth. John Bennett.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1. Marcus Tavernier with the goal, first chance of the game, and he took it, threaded through in the box, left-footed finish, past the goalkeeper. Great start for Bournemouth. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1.
Only 1 point on the road so far. 1 point out of a possible 15. Salford 0, MK Dons 1 is the latest score in League 2. Trippier with a cross, right-hand side, into the Chelsea penalty area, strikes the back of the head of Gordon, brings it out of the penalty area left-hand side, runs forward, stabbed into the path of Miley, places the ball, Isak with a turn, and the finish, and Newcastle United lead by a goal to 0. Such a sharp goal by Alexander Isak, back after injury, and back with a bang. Newcastle lead 1-0.
Great finish, great play. Miley threads it into him, didn't it? Great first touch, the second touch is even better. Sanchez got not a chance. I mean, is there a VAR check on it? Because it looked close to me if it was offside or not. He seemed to have a lot of space inside the area. He just turned and put it in that top corner. What a great finish.
Lovely through ball from Miley, wasn't it?
Brilliant,
from the young lad?
great vision, and he was under a little bit of pressure. He had to do it quickly, and he did.
I mean, every goal is checked, so this one will be certainly going through the mill at Stockley Park. To me, he's onside. Onside, surely he's got to be onside from that. John Brooks is the VAR. He'll be having a look at it, and yeah, it didn't take long at all. Simon Hooper, the referee, points to the spot. Goal stands, well onside. Newcastle 1-0.
Yeah, brilliant. Great finish. I'll give he's had a lot of confidence coming back from injury. Playing that number 9 role where they found it hard to... Callum Wilson gets lots of injury. He's had a lot of injuries. They've struggled to get that number 9 position, and that'll give him a lot of confidence. And see what Chelsea's got now.
Missed the last 5 games through injury. Picked up the injury here against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, and it's just come back after that absence. The Swedish international with his 8th goal of the season, and now Chelsea have got to try and prise open this Newcastle United defence that has really stood firm in winning their last 4 home games in the Premier League. 1907 under Frank Watt was the last time that Newcastle United won 5 at home without conceding. Not that the crowd needed getting pumped up, but they're on their feet in St James's Park. Newcastle 1-0 up, quarter of an hour play.
We'll see what Chelsea's got. We've got to respond now.
Bournemouth are ahead at Sheffield United. Forest still lead Brighton by a goal to 0. Luton 0, Crystal Palace 0, Burnley 0, West Ham United 0. Newcastle then leading by a goal to nil. Trippier with this free kick, 10 yards to the right of the centre circle. They've clustered together just outside the D, and it comes now from Trippier, headed out well by Badiashile. Sterling controls it, only gives it straight towards Almiron, runs forward now. Almiron decides to go on the outside of Ugochukwu and then delivers the cross in, and James was there just to stoop to head it away at the near post. Gallagher turns away from Joel Linton and then catches Gordon as he gets away from Joel Linton. The referee though says he had a good view of that. It'll be a free kick, no action to be taken against the England international, but a free kick to the home side.
The referees, Anthony Gordon's roll around there, I mean look, he's straight up, there's nothing wrong with him. Yeah, it is a foul, but you don't have to roll around the floor like that. Newcastle have turned the screw here on Chelsea. The tempo they've upped it. Chelsea at the minute are really struggling to live with Newcastle.
Trippier comes across to this left-hand side. This should then be an in-swinging free kick. 6 yards in from the left touchline, not quite level with the penalty area. Lascelles has just come across to have a word with Jason Tindall, the assistant of Eddie Howe. Trippier looking for the delivery. Chelsea have every Royal Blue shirt in and around their own penalty area. Isak's goal giving Newcastle the advantage after 13 minutes. We're now in minute 16. Trippier with an in-swinging free kick. Cucurella heads it out only as far as Almiron, lets the ball settle, lifts it out to this near side, the left, onto the chest of Trippier, right-footed cross, back on the diagonal. Lascelles was on the end, might come down towards Miley, his shot down into the ground, and Cucurella will try and run it clear with a little live wire. Almiron gets it back inside now to Guimaraes right side of the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez with the block, runs out of play. Newcastle on top.
Well, Newcastle's all over Chelsea at the minute, physically as well. Ian, I've got to say Newcastle are winning all the battles, 50-50, second balls. Chelsea have got to up the tempo if they want to stay in this game.
Newcastle United, since Eddie Howe took charge, are actually yet to lose a single game in the Saturday 3 p.m. slot. They've won 12, they've drawn 6. Don't feature every time on a commentary for BBC Radio 5 Live, but it's certainly a favourable slot for them. And although the last side actually to beat Newcastle in this slot were indeed Chelsea. Guimaraes right side of the area, his cross was blocked. Chelsea get it away from Cucurella. That was back in October 2021 here at St James's Park when Chelsea ran out 3-0 winners. But this is a good spell for the home side. 18 minutes played. Guimaraes missed that Bournemouth game after accumulating 5 yellow cards. Lascelles back with Cher. Let's get in the rugby union. Saracens, Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 10, Bristol 0, 16 minutes on the clock here. 2 tries in 4 minutes from Sarries, the first from the England skipper Owen Farrell, the second from Alex Lewington, but no conversions. It's Saracens 10, Bristol 0.
Crewe 0, Doncaster 1 is a latest score in League 2, and in the Scottish Premiership it's Dundee 0, Hibs 1. You're up to date. Chris has just pointed out the back of the socks for Conor Gallagher, and I'm going to ask you the question now. Why are they like that? They look like they've been laddered.
I mean, the money Chelsea's got, surely they can afford a pair of socks. But I don't know what that is all about. You'd have to ask them one day. I just don't get that, by the way. They're not designer socks, right? They've
got 3 holes in the back of each of his socks. I mean, I know Jack Grealish likes to have his socks rolled down because of his bulging calves. Unless, of course, he's turning into the Incredible Hulk in front of our eyes, and the socks are the first thing, the calves are the first thing to go. If he starts going green, although he hasn't trapped his finger in a door, has he? Anything? But that is unusual to see that.
I've never seen anything like that.
No. Here is Sterling, far side, runs into trouble in the shape of Trippier. 19 minutes played. Joel Linton leaves it for Guimaraes, and Joel Linton passes the ball back. That was measured play by Newcastle. Burnley, West Ham United, Chris Coles.
0-0, lively game, both sides have threatened. Burnley with the best of the chances. Jay Rodriguez, right hand side of the penalty area, fizzed it to the back post. Amdouni arriving just a little too late. Burnley 0, West Ham 0.
Swansea have taken the lead at home to Hull City in the Championship, 1-0 at the Liberty Stadium, and Gordon is down.
Well, Reece James got tight to him. Yeah, Reece James is there, got tight to him. He seems to go down very easily, I've got to say. But let's say he's getting up, he's all right. He said he doesn't need the physio.
Mind you, you look at the list of Newcastle's players who are out injured. You've got obviously Tonali serving the long-term suspension. Murphy, Dan Burn, Wilson, Elliot Anderson, Botman, Barnes, Longstaff, Target, Willock. Now you can add to that list.
It's amazing the injuries they've got.
Max Verstappen will be on pole for the final Grand Prix of the season in Abu Dhabi. You can hear that on Sports Extra tomorrow at around 12:45. Now Joe Linton's just gone down. Play was about to get back underway and Joe Linton's just sat back down. He's having a word with Simon Hooper. Now this is where the referee says, look, you can get treatment, but you're going to have to go off the pitch for 30 seconds. And then Joe Linton's back to his feet. Let's get an update from Luton. John Southall.
20 minutes played, Luton 0, Crystal Palace 0. Game's just gone into a bit of a lull. That chance from Edouard, 14 yards out, the best one we've had so far, 0-0.
Colchester 1, Barrow 0, Grimsby 1, Sutton 0. Two latest scores in League Two.
Well, it was a Newcastle ball. I don't know why Reece James picked it up to take the throw in. He's saying he kicked the ball out so Gordon could get treatment, but they've awarded the throw in now to Newcastle.
So Newcastle now have a throw on the left-hand side. That will have just stopped the rhythm that Newcastle were playing in, that little break in play. Here is Joe Linton running away from Ugo Chukwu. Lascelles holds off the challenge of Jackson, but has been dispossessed, and Chelsea get it straight up towards Sterling. Looks for the run of Palmer. Sterling though goes alone, goes to ground just outside the area under a challenge from Trippier, and Trippier's going to get a yellow card here, and it's a free kick, direct free kick for Chelsea just outside the penalty area.
I've got to say that was very harsh. We'll get the benefit of a replay in a minute, I'm sure, in front of her, but that looked very harsh to me. Raheem Sterling didn't know about the pass it to Palmer on his right. He was in two mains, he hesitated, and Trippier just runs into the back of him. He can't get out of the way of him. So yes, you can say maybe he did it a free kick, but Raheem Sterling wasn't positive enough for there. For me, he takes it on and goes himself.
Leyton Orient without a win in 5, or a goal up at home to Wigan Athletic in League One, and it's Norwich City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0 in the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers under Martí Cifuentes have drawn both of his opening games, but they're behind at Carrow Road. Now Newcastle United here lead by a goal to 0. The free kick is in front of the Gallowgate end as we look away towards our right hand side, and it's Chelsea looking for the equaliser, and this is fractionally left of centre just outside the
well,
tee.
It's got to be Reece James, hasn't it? I mean, Raheem Sterling looks like he's the one who wants it, but I think Reece James should, as captain, it's up to him to decide, I'm sure.
Thiago Silva is also a voice in the mix, although I'll be surprised if Thiago Silva hits it. Certainly Reece James looks poised, but Sterling is now the one who's walked back 4-5 yards.
Right, to me, you've got to go over the wall here, unless you're going for power where Nick Pope is standing, but for me, it looks like he's going for power. I'd go over the wall here.
James, I think, is just the decoy. It's going to be Raheem Sterling. It's a stuttering run-up from Sterling, who chips it and scores. Just got the dip over the wall. Pope unmoved. Midway through the first half, Raheem Sterling loves scoring against Newcastle United. He's found the back of the net, and from that direct free kick, it's Newcastle 1, Chelsea 1.
Got to say, it's a magnificent free kick. He's hit it with his laces, end of his foot, so he makes a dip. We see people like Ronaldo not have done it over the years. When he ran up to it, I thought most people bend it with inside the foot. He's ran up, he's hit it with his laces, and he's made a dip as it does. If you hit it with the edge of just behind your toes, and he struck it well, and goalkeeper's got no chance. That was the place he had to go to score, and he hit it.
It's his 9th goal against Newcastle United. It's the same level that he scored against Bournemouth and Watford. They're the best teams in his career for scoring goals for Raheem Sterling, and Chelsea are back level. And Chris Waddle said about this game that there was goals in it, and midway through the first half we've already seen 2. Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 1. John Bennett at Bramall Lane.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1. The home fans not happy. It's all Bournemouth. They've had great chances to make it 2-0. Tavernier, Kluivert and Solanke going close. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1.
Harrogate Town, who've won their last 4 away from home in League Two, are behind at Crawley. Crawley 1, Harrogate 0. You are up to date with the goals as they go in. 1-1 here at St James's Park. Plymouth Sunderland in the Championship. John Akers.
Oh my word! Plymouth have taken the lead, and it's an absolute screamer from Morgan Whittaker. 25 yards out, left foot, keeper no chance. Argyle 1, Sunderland 0.
James finds Palmer, now towards Sterling. Sterling left corner of the area, goes for goal again, right-footed, patted down this time by Pope. Now bowls the ball out towards Gordon, and Gordon up against Reece James. He's got the beating of James for pace, as Gordon now midway through the Chelsea half is faced by Thiago Silva. They've doubled up on him, and he goes past James, who got back, but there was Thiago Silva, who then falls over the ball, and it goes behind for a corner kick. For a minute I thought I was alongside Norman Collier.
I was, yeah. He's trying to do a trick where you roll the ball with the inside of your foot, and it's gone out for a play, and unfortunately when that happens it is a little bit comical, doesn't it? And I feel for him there, to be fair.
Your mic's still working, is it? Oh no, it was your headphones.
It is now, it is, yeah.
That's Chris Waddle and not Norman Collier. That's not one for the kids, I can tell you. Here is Kieran Trippier with the corner kick. Deep towards the far post, and arriving, and he's put it wide, was Joel Linton. I think the referee's whistle had blown. Another goal at Nottingham Forest, Pat Murphy.
Equaliser from Brighton and Evan Ferguson. What a fine goal. Intricate movement, 15 yards out, right foot, side footed into the net. A natural goal scorer's effort, that one. Forest 1, Brighton 1.
I don't think the referee's whistle blew us all, did it?
I don't know why. I mean, that should be a goal. Joel's got a free header. I mean, Conor Gallagher's just let him run off the back of him. He's never tracked him.
No, there was. The referee's whistle. There was an infringement on Sanchez, the goalkeeper. Yeah, so it wouldn't have counted. And it's probably a relief to Joel Linton, because it was a free header at the far post, but he's put wide. Swansea have got a second goal. 2-0 now, they lead Hull City. Swansea City 2, Hull City 0. 26 minutes played. Been a lively first half.
It's been very good. The tempo has been excellent, and it's open football.
I mean, who would have thought that during a commentary we've managed to get in Norman Collier and the Incredible Hulk. Ball played back by Miley to Lascelles. Here is Cher. Now to Livramento playing at left back over the halfway line. Inside now to Guimaraes. Guimaraes to the tall and lean figure of Lewis Miley, a teenage midfielder from County Durham. Almiron to Guimaraes. Jackson just got a foot into that, but Guimaraes keeps hold of the ball as he shields it away and turns into the body of Sterling midway through the Chelsea half. Newcastle playing from right to left. Here now is Joel Linton. Palmer was putting him under pressure, and Chelsea get the ball back, but Joel Linton goes in search of it and trying to beat the press, and they do ever so well by doing so to Chelsea. Up towards Jackson, a little bit of a stumble, back to his feet, controls it, lays it off towards Palmer. Sliding challenge comes in and won back well by Cher. Just inside the Newcastle half. He now comes to a standstill. He and Miley exchange passes, and then they work it up towards Trippier. Bit of space now for Trippier on that far side, midway through the Chelsea half. 1-1 on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and BBC Sounds. Almiron coming in off the right touchline. Guimaraes, right corner of the area, passes the ball to Trippier. First time cross. It's a deep one. It won't go out of play. Kept in play by Gordon. Plays it back, Livramento. Onto his right foot, closed down by Gallagher. Pushes the ball on the inside now to Guimaraes. He turns away from Jackson. Chelsea have everybody back behind the ball. And now the ball is lifted forward. Good ball. Trippier, first time volley cross. Bounces off the body of Joel Linton. Isak keeps the ball glued to his feet. Prods it back to Livramento. Now with Gordon left hand side. Livramento used as a decoy on the overlap. Gordon's going to shoot. That block comes in from James. Loops up in the air. Headed out on the edge of the area by Sterling. Little nudge there by Almiron. Back heeled from Trippier. Back to Almiron in space. Forward ball, the return from Joel Linton. Appeals for handball. Referee will let the game play on. Palmer's turn, gives it away. Runs into trouble. Here now is Guimaraes. Opens up on this near side the left. Livramento joins the attack. Chelsea have 9 outfield players back behind the ball. Guimaraes, Newcastle looking to go back in front. Outstretched leg by Palmer. Just delays that Newcastle United attack as we go back to Saracens and Sarah Orchard.
It's Saracens 10, Bristol 7. It was a brilliant effort by the Bears' second row, Joe Batley, who sparkled all game. An early charge down, but this time he battled through the Saracens' defensive line to reach a touchdown. Well-deserved conversion by Sheedy. It's Saracens 10, Bristol 7.
They're playing at Kingston Park this afternoon. Newcastle against Exeter. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra now. Shrewsbury 1, Port Vale 0 is the latest score in League One. Newcastle, though, 1-1 here, are attacking with Guimaraes. Dummist across the ball as he teases his way towards the penalty area. Now delivers it and caught by Sanchez at his near post. Kenilworth Road we go. John Southall.
Luton 0 Palace 0. Palace could be ahead though. Ezer with a 20-yarder deflected save by Kaminsky. Came out to Jeffrey Schlupp, denied by the keeper again. Brilliant double save. Luton 0 Palace 0.
Here is Trippier. Didn't play, of course, against North Macedonia. Left the England camp due to personal reasons. But such an integral part of what Eddie Howe is trying to build here at St James's Park as Lascelles steps forward into the centre circle to Isak. Almost slipped, managed to keep his balance, is being tugged back there by Gallagher. Referee though plays the advantage. Isak then chips the ball long out towards Almiron on that far side, the right corner of the area, sends over the cross. It's an in-swinging cross out for a goal kick. Chris Waddle.
It's a great ball in there. Almiron, Isak goes to the near post. He's got a simple tap in. It's all Newcastle at the minute. Chelsea made a little adjustment to put Palmer in behind Jackson in the midfield, and Gallagher's come out his right hand side, but they are struggling. Newcastle are on top.
Crewe have equalised at home to Doncaster Rovers. Crewe 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. Burnley 0, West Ham 0. Luton Crystal Palace goalless. Forest lead Brighton by a goal to 0. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1. Earlier 1-1 between Manchester City and Liverpool. So Arsenal have a chance to go top of the table when they face Brentford in our next commentary at 5:30. Millwall 0, Coventry 1 is a latest score. As now James forward for Chelsea, crosses the ball. Palmer outside the area, onto his right foot, plays it back towards James, inside right channel, the penalty area, and then the shot coming in from Enzo Fernandez, and Pope got a touch to that, dived away to his left behind for a corner kick.
Well, I've not seen Chelsea in the attacking half for at least 10 minutes, but James down the straight hand side, who's a very good player, links up with Palmer, rolls it, and as you say there, Fernandez comes onto it. It's a great save by Pope as that was going in.
Certainly was. Enzo Fernandez, who's yet to score in the Premier League. This is his 30th game for the World Cup winner. As Chelsea in front of the Gallagate end, corner kick near side the right. Should be an outswinger from Gallagher. Sterling just makes a movement to run as a short option and then decides a change of heart. Gallagher now outswinging corner kick, and the header is caught by Pope. There were two of them that went for that, Cucurella and Badiashile, and it was Pope who got the end of it with safe hands.
I don't know, Cucurella wins that. He's not the biggest, is he, on the pitch, and nobody tracks him. He just runs, he gets a free header, and it's a simple catch.
So I told you that Millwall are behind against Coventry City without a win in 6. Joe Edwards won his first home game. This is his first home game in charge of Millwall. He won his first match at Sheffield Wednesday. Wimbledon lead Notts County by a goal to 0. Notts County, who are third this morning in League 2. Wycombe 0, Reading 1. Reading, who've lost all 8 away games in League 1, but they are ahead there. And there are no other goals to tell you about elsewhere. But we will go to Bramall Lane and John Bennett.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth really impressive in this first half. Yet another chance, this time Lloyd Kelly straight at the goalkeeper. They are all over Sheffield United. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1.
12 minutes to go to half time here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 1. Almiron right hand side. There's a little push in the back of Cucurella. It goes out of play for a Newcastle throw that they take quickly. Trippier gets it back from Joel Linton, passes the ball to Lascelles, and Lascelles now finds Cher inside the centre circle of his own half. Joel Linton drops deep, challenge comes in from Enzo Fernandez. Referee tried to let the game flow and then brought it back. Free kick, because Newcastle, there was no advantage there at all for the home team.
I think if you look at the two sides as well, Ian, you've got to say that Newcastle are a stronger, more physical side than Chelsea. When Chelsea haven't got the ball, they're playing with sort of 7, 8 players who are trying to get the ball back. Some of them find it very difficult to close Newcastle down.
Newcastle United, when they have scored the opening goal of the Premier League this season, they've only lost on the one occasion. And the 8 times that it's happened, that was against Liverpool here at the end of August, as Trippier goes very, very long with a free kick towards Lascelles, who is up from the back. Joe Linton has just fouled Enzo Fernandez as the Brazilian and Argentinian rivalry continues. Wycombe have equalised at home to Reading 1-1, and there's been a goal at Cheltenham in League One. Henry Moran.
And it is a deserved lead for the home side. Cheltenham, all those struggles at the start of the year to find a goal. Well, Rob Street has fired one in from the edge of the area. Oxford, second in the table, have been really poor today. Cheltenham on top, deserve their lead. Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0.
So the top two in League One are both behind as Thiago Silva. That goal against Manchester City, the first 39-year-old to score in the Premier League since Ryan Giggs 10 years ago. As Cole Palmer runs forward for Chelsea, all in royal blue, out towards Sterling, left corner of the area. Still being booed by the Newcastle fans. On the overlap, looks towards Palmer, overhit it, sliding Palmer, couldn't keep the ball in play. Goal kick Newcastle. Back to the City Ground we go, Pat Murphy.
It's still Forest 1, Brighton 1, but Brighton's injury problems continue. Fair amount of key players missing from this game, and now in the first half an hour they've lost Fatty and Lamptey to injuries, with a sense of resignation from both players. I suspect they came into this game a little bit worried about lasting the full tenure. It's Forest 1, Brighton 1.
Forest could do with that, just the one win in 8. Brighton unbeaten in 5, but not keeping a clean sheet is a recurring problem for them and Sheffield United. Burnley and Luton Town, incidentally, the other two teams who are yet to keep a clean sheet in the Premier League this season. Burnley drawing at home 0-0 with West Ham United, and still no goals at Kenilworth Road between Luton Town and Crystal Palace, as Lascelles, a forceful header out of defence for Newcastle United, and Badir Shield turns and back towards Sanchez. 9 minutes to go to half time. What do you make of the game so far, Chris?
I think Newcastle's just been a better side. Chelsea do carry a threat, but I've got to say the front four, you know, you're looking at Gallagher, Sterling. I know he scored a great goal, Sterling, brilliant free kick, great technique, but he's done nothing else in the game.
Oh, that was a poor clearance by Pope, straight towards Gallagher. Gallagher enters the penalty area and then scuffs his shot, and he couldn't punish Pope. It was a rather weak left-footed effort, well off target.
It was a very poor effort, but as I think the front four, Jackson, Palmer, Gallagher and Sterling, for me, haven't done enough for Chelsea. I think the rest of the team have grafted very hard. James has been excellent at right back, and but you need more from them four players if you want to get a result today.
That really should have been 2-1, shouldn't it?
Yeah, Gallagher in a great position. You said earlier in the programme, Ian, didn't you, in the game, that he's got to score more goals, and that is the opportunity he's got to put away.
Only scored 3 in his 59 previous appearances as Jackson picks it up. Jackson runs at the Newcastle defence and I was going to say I thought he was tripped, but the referee Simon Hooper says not. Jackson thought he was too. Newcastle will still now bring the ball away. Joe Linton midway through the Newcastle half, he had Jackson snapping away at his heels, urged on by the home crowd. Ball is up now with Trippier, looking for Almiron to make the run in behind Cucurella. Badir Shield has come across as well, keeps the ball in play and then wins a goal kick off the shins of Almiron over on that far side, that corner between the East Stand and the Leasey Stand here at St James's Park. Now I mentioned that the top two in League One, Portsmouth and Oxford United, are both behind, but Bolton Wanderers, who are third, they've won their last 5 incidentally, are leading Exeter City by a goal to 0. Bolton 1, Exeter City 0, and Wrexham have got a third already. Wrexham 3, Morecambe 0. That's in League 2. 7 and a bit minutes to go to half time. Guimaraes collects the ball from Trippier, out to Almiron right hand side. Almiron back to Trippier, 30 yards from goal, just in from the touchline on that far side. Guimaraes, diagonal cross comes in. Ooh, James is the one who's controlled it inside his 6-yard area, but there was no immediate pressure on Reece James and he was able to clear. Let's get an update from Celtic. They're at home to Motherwell. Gavin Wallace.
Yep, Celtic 0, Motherwell 0. Best chance coming on 21. A great corner whipped in, but Scales couldn't quite get the head right on it, and Liam Kelly denied him. Celtic 0, Motherwell 0.
Middlesbrough have been going well of late. They've won 7 of their last 9, but they're behind at Ashton Gate in the Championship. Bristol City 1, Middlesbrough 0. And Salford have equalised at home to MK Dons. At Salford 1, MK Dons 1 is the latest score in League 2. 6 minutes remain to the break. Isak, who gave Newcastle the lead, since they've been pegged back. Cucurella now has it, tidies it up, back towards Sanchez. Plays the ball towards Thiago Silva. And Newcastle decide to press, but again, the outlet is Fernandes, who can now run forward. And the Argentine midfielder is over the halfway line, passes the ball ahead of him, out towards the left-hand side. Sterling, continuing to be jeered by the St James's Park crowd, waits, left-hand side of the penalty area, on the outside of Trippier. Trippier, though, recovers and gets a a block challenge in behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, well, we're not seeing Chelsea going forward, isn't it? When they do look threatening, but there Sterling decides to slow the attack down when they probably had 4 against 4, but he's got a corner out of it.
St Mirren 1, Livingston 0, a latest score from Paisley in the Scottish Premiership. Chelsea have a corner kick then, 1-1. Just over 5 minutes remaining to the break here on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Palmer to take it far side the left. This should be an outswinger. Newcastle have got everybody back in their own penalty area, those black and white striped shirts. In it comes now, and it's Lascelles who heads it away. Bouncing ball for Palmer, but he's lost out in the challenge to Gordon, who brings it away from Palmer, and Gordon accelerates, and then Miley passes the ball out, but it goes astray. And it will be a Chelsea throw far side the left. Burnley-West Ham, Chris Coles.
Burnley 0, West Ham 0, but Burnley continue to carry the greater threat. They've just had a decent shout for a penalty turned down. Soufal on Koleosho. VAR had a long look, waved it away. Burnley 0, West Ham 0.
Burnley bottom of the table, 6 successive defeats. They're going to have to try and end that run. Just try and get at least something on the board. You would fancy that Everton, despite that 10-point deduction, with the tutelage of Sean Dyche, that they will eventually haul themselves clear, wouldn't you?
Yeah, looking at the state of the Premier League, there's 3 or 4 teams I think Everton can give them a head start and still catch them.
Here is Badia Shield. We will of course bring you the crowd's reaction as they return, of course, for the first time since that points deduction was handed down to them tomorrow in one of our commentaries on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Everton Manchester United at 4:30 as Livramento wins the ball, runs forward. Gordon, Livramento's continued his run. Gordon on the left hand side making a run inside, and then he goes to ground. Ugo Chukwu could get a yellow card here.
Got to.
And he will. Leslie, Ugo Chukwu is booked by referee Simon Hooper. We can quickly go to Plymouth where there's been a goal. John Akers.
Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0. 5 minutes to half time. Finazaz, lovely feet in the penalty area, bends it into the far corner. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0.
Well, Sunderland fans won't need reminding that Plymouth actually weren't on a good run of form going into that game with just 1 win in 8, but leading 2-0 at home park.
It'll be alright second half. They've got jet lag on them.
You're on good form today. Free kick to Newcastle United.
I still can't get over Conor Gallagher's socks.
Yeah. I was thinking, who's the lad called Jack Lag? And then I realised it was your accent, Jet Lag.
Jet Lag.
Here is Trippier and Cher with his free kick. 25 yards out, left of centre. 1-1, BBC Radio 5 Live. 3 minutes to go of normal time in this first half. I was going to say it's 4 in the wall, but there's a real gap between Sterling and the other 3.
I mean, he's going to have to put some pace on this because he is a good 25 yards out. As you said, the wall is not 4 or 5 players, it's 3. Goalkeeper's in basically the middle of the goal, just slightly to his left. He's going to have to put a lot of pace on it.
Sanchez has actually now called Sterling to go into another position inside the penalty area. Cher is the other taker, but it will be Trippier, and Trippier produces a flying save by Sanchez. Oh no! Hit the crossbar, did it? I thought the keeper got a touch.
I thought he saved that. Well, we're seeing the replay now. Ian in front of it, and it's hit the bar.
Oh, he hit the bar.
Well, he did put a lot of pace on it. The goalkeeper got across there. Whether he thought he had it, I think he did, but it hit the bar and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I thought that was an excellent save by Sanchez, but it hit the crossbar. Goal kick, 1-1 it remains. Swindon lead Mansfield by a goal to 0. So the only 2 sides who are remaining unbeaten in the top 92 in the English League system, Portsmouth and Mansfield, are both behind. Nigel Clough's side fallen behind at the county ground. Swindon 1, Mansfield 0. Reading are back in front at Wycombe. Wycombe 1, Reading 2. Wimbledon 2, Notts County 0 is the latest score in League 2. And as we get towards half time, no more goals to tell you about. BBC Radio 5 Live, 1-1. Entertaining half.
Being good, I think.
Newcastle
have, I think, we know how they play on the front foot here, and I think they've caused a lot of problems for Chelsea. And as I say, if you're going in half time and you want Chelsea, you'd want more from your front 4. I think they've been lightweight. They haven't really stood up to the challenge. And if you could get that front 4 working, they've got a good chance, Chelsea.
Isak, helped out by Gordon, midway through his own half. Livramento passes the ball infield to Lascelles, sweeps it away first time. Ugo Chukwu and Badashil both went for the same ball. Newcastle will profit. Stabbed out towards the right by Miley to Trippier. Trippier's ball inside to Almiron. Turns. Passes the ball now square and in field. Joe Linton, cries of shoot, he obliges. And then his left-footed effort from 25 yards out. I might say that it bobbled for him, but he skied it.
Well, I think next time they'll show pass. I mean, it's onto his left foot. It's not his favourite foot, is it? So let's be honest. It's nearly hit the Chelsea fans, by the way,
who are high up in the gods in the Lees' end away towards our left. Back to Nottingham Forest, Pat Murphy.
Still 1-1 against Brighton. Dunk, a great tackle on Gibbs White to get Brighton out of trouble. Then just now Gibbs White, trickery on the right. Good teasing cross, but Wood couldn't quite get enough power in this header to test the keeper. Forest 1, Brighton 1.
Tranmere 1, Gillingham 0 is a latest score from Prenton Park in League 2. We're inside the last 30 seconds of this first half. We'll find out how much added on time there will be very, very soon as Sanchez goes long. An unchallenged, towering header by Lascelles, who's had a real run in the Newcastle side in the absence of Sven Botman. As was it 3 minutes? 3 minutes of added on time, which we're about to see put up on the by the fourth official down below very, very soon. But Sterling coming forward now, and we enter those 3 minutes now. There it is, the three bright red digits. As Newcastle clear it up towards Almiron. Almiron's over the halfway line. He's only got Isak with him. Isak is forced a little bit further back than he maybe would have liked. Livramento on the overlap, not required. Guimaraes, though, now will find the ball with Livramento on this near side. Level with the penalty area. Back towards Guimaraes. Holds off Gallagher. Passes the ball then to Lascelles. Every outfield player is in the Chelsea half. Peterborough 2, Burton 0. Crewe 2, Doncaster 1. Bolton 2, Exeter 0. Our latest scores in League 1, League 2 and League 1 respectively. Half-time in the Rugby Union at Saracens. Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 15, Bristol 21. After a slow start, it's the visitors Bristol that lead. They scored 2 tries in 6 minutes at the end of the first half, and the difference between the two sides is clean kicking from conversions by Callum Sheedy, none slotted by Owen Farrell. Half-time, Saracens 15, Bristol 21.
Commentary of Newcastle Exeter continues on Sports Extra. Many moons ago, many an afternoon, I'd spend an afternoon at Kingston Park when Rob Andrew and his team were the dominant side in the late 90s. This will be a free kick for Trippier. Right-footed for Newcastle United, right down the throat of Sanchez. 1-1 it remains. Goal in the Championship, Becky Ives.
And it's gone to Sheffield Wednesday. Birmingham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Josh Windass with a free kick that hit the bar, and it was George Byers there on the follow-up. Birmingham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Sheffield Wednesday, bottom of the table. Birmingham City yet to win under Wayne Rooney. You would think that would be the perfect opportunity, would you not, for him to get off to a winning mark?
A lot of pressure on Wayne Rooney, isn't it, Birmingham? And Sheffield Wednesday, new manager, been working very, very hard, getting the rewards today.
1-1 still at St James's Park. Fernandez into the feet of Gallagher. No free kick. Guimaraes brings it away, looks for Gordon. Thiago Silva with his anticipation closes him down quickly. Gordon looks to come on the inside. Thiago Silva gets a foot into the challenge. Excellent play by James as well on this near side, and then he's knocked to the floor by Joel Linton. A stray arm. Now James has gone down holding his head, but now the referee comes under pressure from the Chelsea players, and Joel Linton is shown a yellow. There's been a sending up at Cheltenham. Henry Moran.
Still Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0, but the goal scorer Rob Street shown a straight red, a clash with Oxford defender Stefan Negru. He had to go, walked off shaking his head down below us. Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0, but they're down to 10, the hosts.
James is back to his feet. I don't think there can be any doubt about that being a yellow card. But if Chelsea are looking for a red, Reece James is now getting involved in with something I think Jason Tyndall has said to him from the technical area, and the fourth official is telling Jason Tyndall just to back away.
Well, you know, these...
Goal at Bramall Lane, John Bennett.
A second goal for Bournemouth. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2, and it's a complete mix-up at the back. Wes Foderingham with an awful mistake, tried to carry the ball outside of his box. Justin Kluivert took it off him and side-footed it into the back of the net. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2.
Nothing materialises from that Chelsea free kick. Instead they lose the ball. Gordon to Isak. Good footwork by Isak. Enters the penalty area, tries to thread it through, tries to win it back, and then commits a foul in the process. There's been another goal at Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
Brighton are now 2-1 up, having been 1-0 down. A splendid towering header from the substitute João Pedro from Pascal Gross's header. Beat the keeper to the left. Fine centre forwards goal, and he's the substitute. Forest 1, Brighton 2.
Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 0 is the latest score in the Championship. The half-time whistle has sounded here. Chris Waddle 1-1.
Got to say, Newcastle for me just shaded it, but Raheem Sterling's super free kick from outside the box goes in the top corner. You don't stop them. Chelsea, if they want to get something out of it, I think it's Newcastle in the driving seat, but if Chelsea want to get something, they've got to get that front four working harder off the ball and when they get it.
Reece James has just had a talking to from referee Simon Hooper, but Isak with his turn and shot gave Newcastle a 13th minute lead. As Chris says, Sterling with that direct free kick, and a fine goal it was too with the equaliser. Sterling being ushered off the pitch by Jesus Perez as Pochettino serves that touchline ban. Half time at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 1.
A few late goals in the Championship. Let's start at Huddersfield where the visitors are ahead. Lee Blakeman.
Yeah, Huddersfield 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong with his 10th goal of the season. Ball in from the left, and Armstrong flicked it across goal into the bottom corner. Southampton with a goal as the half-time whistle goes that their 82% first half possession deserves. Huddersfield 0, Southampton 1.
Ryan Watson's just scored from the penalty spot to put Salford City 2-1 up at home to MK Dons. Stephen Humphreys has equalised for Wigan at Leyton Orient on the stroke of half-time. 8 for the season for him. And speaking of equalisers, Becky Ives.
Oh, this game was fired into life. Birmingham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Bakuna with a shot from outside the box. A stunning strike left the keeper for dead. Birmingham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Half-time at Bramall Lane. John Bennett.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth well worth their lead, could be leading by a lot more. One really well worked goal, one complete calamity. The first it was Antoine Semenyo who threaded through to Marcus Tavernier, excellent finish. Then the calamity, the Sheffield United goalkeeper Wes Fotheringham outside of his box tried to step on the ball, completely messed it up. It was taken off him by Justin Kluivert, who scored into the empty net. Half-time Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2.
At half-time at Kenilworth Road. John Southall, the score?
Luton 0, Crystal Palace 0. No great surprise. It has had its moments though. Thomas Kaminski in the Luton goals excelled himself, held a tame Edouard effort before a terrific double save to deny Eza and then Jeffrey Schlupp. Luton yet to really test Sam Johnson. The closest they've come, a Lockyer header falling backwards. So 0-0 at half-time, but Luton do like a second-half goal.
Said he, hopefully. Could be a battle to be on last on Match of the Day tonight because Chris Coles.
Because it's Burnley 0, West Ham 0, and given Burnley have lost 6 in a row at home, West Ham have lost their last 3 on the road, perhaps this isn't surprising. Burnley have been the better. Rodriguez firing across goal and just wide. Koleosho forcing a good save from Areola, and Amdouni heading just wide. Also, a decent Burnley shout for a penalty. Checked by VAR, but not given. West Ham have been very quiet. Burnley 0, West Ham 0.
Harrogate are in great form away from home in League 2. They've won their last 4 away. They were behind at Crawley, but Jack Muldoon has just equalised for them in the 6th minute of first half stoppage time. There's also an equaliser for bottom of the table, Sutton United. Harry Smith's their top scorer, 10 for the season now for him, and they're level at Grimsby. It's 1-1. What about the leaders? Stockport at Newport. Sheridan Robbins.
They've got work to do. We're in the 4th minute of added time, and Newport have taken the lead. A wonderful free kick caused all sorts of problems, and Bryn Morris fired it into the bottom corner. It's Newport 1, Stockport 0.
Back to the Premier League, still playing at Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
Just half-time whistle. Forest 1, Brighton 2. Forest, great start. Elanga, downward header. Everything seemed set fair. But they went off the ball, they sat back, and Brighton, despite losing 2 more players to injury in the first half an hour, scored 2 superb goals. Ferguson and a towering, majestic header from the substitute Pedro. Forest 1, Brighton 2.
Let's go to Plymouth in the Championship, where the home side have had a great first half. John Akers.
They really have. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0. The first goal from Whittaker. There won't be many better scored in the Championship today. Left foot, 25 yards, on the run. Loads of swaz with the outside of his left foot and into the corner. And Azaz's was very nice as well. Composed, right foot curler into the corner. Been good, Plymouth. Sunderland have had their chances, but trailed 2-0 at the break.
The leaders in the Championship have lost their last 2, and they are level at the break. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Leicester 0, Watford 0. Plenty of possession and loads of half chances from the home side, but limited end product from Enzo Maresca's men. Milete Rajovic has had the best and only real major chance for Watford. The ball falling to him at point blank range. pitch. He swung a boot at it but couldn't get any purchase on his effort. But then came Leicester. Daniel Bachmann making multiple solid saves from Dewsbury Hall and Casey McAteer. The natives not quite restless, but they will be if this remains as it is. Leicester 0, Watford 0.
Goalless there, goalless at Deepdale as well. Sani Radravajala.
Yeah, and Preston, huffed and puffed, not really shown too much. Biggest chance was for Cardiff City. Carlin Grant, after a corner was not quite cleared and stabbing wide from the right-hand post. Ched Evans has made himself known too to the Cardiff players, including Jamilou Collins, but handbags aside, little to report. 0-0 between Preston and Cardiff at the break.
All square at St Andrews as well. Becky Ives.
Certainly is, one apiece. Sheffield Wednesday have the better of the football in the first half. Got the reward. Josh Windass free kick, rattled the post, but George Bice was quickest with the tap-up. Then I have to say, out of nowhere, Birmingham really haven't been great this first half, but Kuna, a stunning strike from outside the box, fired home 2 minutes later. Birmingham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Bristol City lead Middlesbrough by 2-0. Taylor Gardner-Hickman got the first, Tommy Conway the second. That's 3 for the season for him. Millwall 0, Coventry 1. Coventry's goal coming from Matt Godden, 7 for the season for him. I missed out Huddersfield and Southampton. Southampton lead at Huddersfield. Adam Armstrong with the goal there. He's got 10 for the season. Now, Norwich lead QPR by 1-0. Hwang Hui-jo with the goal there. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0, as John Akers has told you about. Stoke 0, Blackburn 1. Scott Wharton with the goal for Blackburn. That's his first of the season. And Swansea have had a very good half against Hull. They've won just one of their last 5 of Michael Duff's side, but they lead Hull by 2-0. Jamie Patterson with the first and Jerry Yates with his 5th of the season getting the second. Into League One, where the leaders are behind. Chris Wise.
Yeah, very sweet scoreline this for the Tangerines. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1, and the story so far is that the Blackpool goal scorer was on loan at Portsmouth from Blackpool last season. Owen Daly got the goal 9 minutes in at the far post, eking it past goalkeeper Will Norris. Pompey have responded well, and actually Blackpool have had their goalkeeper Dan Grimshaw to thank for a couple of big saves, denying Josh Martin on his debut, and also Marvin Ekpiteta, one of his own defenders, who nearly beat him, and Grimshaw got over his right to flick it away. But the league leaders are in a spot of bother. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1.
But the team in second are in a spot of bother as well. Henry Moran.
Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0. The relegation candidates leading the promotion pushers, and they deserve it too. Rob Street getting the Cheltenham goal. Oxford failing to clear. Street firing home from the edge of the box, but his busy day took a turn for the worse in first half stoppage time. A straight red for Street for violent conduct. Des Buckingham managing Oxford for the first time. Not going to plan for him so far. His side have been poor. Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0.
So the top two are losing. Going well for the side in third. Bolton, who lead Exeter by 2-0 and are on course to win their 6th straight successive game in the league. It's goalless between Carlisle and Charlton. And Derby and Bristol Rovers. Fleetwood 0, Stevenage 1. Jamie Reid got that goal. He's got 15 for the season already. Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 1. Lincoln lead Barnsley by 1-0 in Michael Scubala's 3rd game in charge of the club. Goalless between Northampton and Cambridge. Peterborough, who've won 3 of their last 4, are comfortable at the break. They lead Burton by 2-0. Shrewsbury lead Port Vale by 1-0. And it's Wycombe 1, Reading 2, as Reading look to put an end to this record of having lost all their away games in League One this season. The League One leaders are losing. The League Two leaders are losing. Sheridan Robbins.
They certainly are. They've got work to do in what has been a largely forgettable 45 minutes. In the 5th minute of added time, there was a rocket from Bryn Morris after a great free kick on the right-hand side from Shane McLaughlin. So at half-time, it's Newport 1, Stockport 0.
Elsewhere in League Two, AFC Wimbledon 2, Notts County 0. Goalless between Bradford and Accrington Stanley. Colchester lead Barrow by 1-0. It's Crawley 1, Harrogate 1. Crewe lead Doncaster by 2-1. Grimsby 1, Sutton 1. Newport are a goal up on Stockport. Salford lead MK Dons by 2-1. Jake Young's 14th of the season is the difference between the two sides at Swindon, who lead Mansfield by 1-0. Tranmere, who've lost just one of their last 5 at home, are ahead at the break against Gillingham. It's Walsall 0, Forest Green Rovers 0. And Wrexham, who suffered their first defeat in 9 last weekend, have had a great first 45 minutes at home to Morecambe, who are without a manager after Derek Adams left the club on Monday to join Ross County. It's Wrexham 3, Morecambe 0. Paul Mullin got the second of those goals. 7 for the season for him. In the National League, earlier finished AFC Fylde 3, Dorking 3. Elsewhere at half-time, Aldershot 0, FC Halifax 0. Great first half for Altrincham against another side in the playoffs in Solihull Moors. They lead by 3-0. Boreham Wood 1, Woking 2. Leaders Chesterfield being held at home by Eastleigh, that's goalless. Rochdale are a goal up at Dagenham and Redbridge. Gateshead lead Southend by a 0-0. Hartlepool 0, Bromley 2. Maidenhead 0, York 0, but York are down to 10 in that game. Oldham 0, Ebbsfleet 1. Oxford City 2, Kidderminster 1 and Wealdstone 1, Barnet 2. Into the Scottish Premiership, the leaders are being held at the break. Gavin Wallace.
They are indeed. Celtic 0, Motherwell 0. You can tell, Mark, it's the first game after the international break. David Dickinson might be our VAR, but this game has not been the real deal. The best chance for Celtic. Connor whipped in on 21 at pace. Liam Scales forced a great hit, a great save from Liam Kelly, but in 38 a punt forward from Motherwell took the entire Celtic back line out. Joe Hart raced out, Blair Spittle put the ball over the top, and then Stephen O'Donnell's effort was cleared off the line. Celtic 0, Motherwell 0.
Elsewhere in the Premiership, Dundee 0, Hibs 1, Hearts 0, St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 0, and third place St Mirren lead Livingston by a 0-0. Scottish Cup third round weekend, Albion Rovers 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Annan 0, Dumbarton 2, Brora Rangers 1, Pollock 0, Broxburn Athletic 0, Bucky Thistle 0. Bucky Thistle down to 10 in that game. Cumnock Juniors 0, Broomhill 1. Dunbar United 1, Alloa 2. Falkirk 3, Formartine United 0. Hamilton 0, Kelty Hearts 0. Inverness 0, Cowdenbeath 0. Montrose 0, Edinburgh City 0. Morton lead Bowness United by a 0-0. Partick Thistle 2, Queen's Park 0. Peterhead 0, Ayr 0. Queen of the South 1, Dundee United 1. Spartans 1, Arbroath 0. Stirling 0, Cove Rangers 1. Stranraer 0, Edrionians 1, and Tranent 0, Forfar 0. In the Gallagher Premiership, midway through the second half, it's Gloucester 13, Leicester 21. And at half-time, Saracens 15, Bristol 21. Earlier in the United Rugby Championship, it finished Lions 61, Zebra 19. And they've just started the second half, and Bulls lead Connacht by 32 points to 13. You're up to date with all the sport. 4:01. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Israeli army says another group of Israelis being held hostage in Gaza have been transferred to the Red Cross. They're being freed in exchange for 39 Palestinian prisoners as a 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas holds for a second day. Egypt says it's received positive signals that the deal could be extended for another 1 or 2 days. A delegation from Qatar, which had been helping to mediate between Israel and Hamas, has visited Israel to discuss a possible extension. Tens of thousands of people are taking part in a pro-Palestinian demonstration in central London, calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Police have arrested one demonstrator who was carrying a placard with Nazi symbols on it and have handed out leaflets warning people not to use hate speech. Officials in Ukraine have reported the most sustained Russian drone attack since the full-scale invasion began in February last year. 5 people in the Kyiv region were injured. The Ukrainian Air Force says all but one of 75 drones was shot down. And people have been warned to stay away from a beach in the village of Hemsby in Norfolk after parts of a road collapsed into the sea. The area has been battered by strong winds and high tides. Several homes have already been demolished because of the erosion.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back to St James's Park in just a second. First to the Davis Cup, Russell Fuller.
Can Novak Djokovic take Serbia into the Davis Cup final? They are 1-0 up against Italy. He found himself a set down to Yannick Sinner. He lost it 6-2. Typical Djokovic response. Won the second set 6-2. And it's very tight in the decider. Djokovic creating more opportunities, but going with serve. Djokovic leading by 3-2.
How's the defending champion doing on the opening day of the UK Championship? Jamie Broughton.
Well, he now leads by 4-2. It was 2-2 at the mid-session interval. Allen then made breaks of 106 and 60 to build that 4-2 lead, so he needs 2 more frames for victory. On the other table this afternoon, the 2-time winner Mark Williams is playing Fan Jung Yi. Williams is now 3-2 up in that one.
You can watch that on BBC One or on the iPlayer to the Gallagher Premiership. Sarah?
Just back underway in the second half here between Saracens and Bristol. 2 minutes into this second half, and Owen Farrell's lining up a penalty. All eyes on him because he missed all 3 of his conversions in the second half, and that has given ultimately this Bristol this 21-15 lead they have. This will reduce it. So Farrell takes his line up, uses his right boot. That one's gone high into the sky, heading in the right direction, but that's gone wide of the uprights as well. So the England captain has now missed 4 kicks at goal. The score remains the same, and it's Bristol who lead here against the reigning champions. It's Saracens 15, Bristol 21.
Gloucester 13, Leicester 26 in the other game this afternoon, and that's midway through the second half. I think we've got a penalty at Turf Moor. Are we waiting for VAR, Chris?
We are indeed, Mark. Yes, Luca Koleosho, just as he was about to pull the trigger, just clipped the legs of Mohamed Kudus. Referee Sam Barrett pointed to the spot, but VAR is having a look. Jay Rodriguez places the ball on the spot. So I think the penalty has been given. Alphonse Areola retreats to his goal line. What a big moment this could be in Burnley's season. 6 games at home, yet to pick up a point. 0-0 with West Ham, 3 minutes into the second half. Jay Rodriguez has the chance to put Burnley in front. Referee blows his whistle. Rodriguez waits and waits, steps up, right-footed, scores straight down the middle, and that could be a very big goal in Burnley's season. Burnley 1, West Ham 0.
So Burnley lead West Ham by 1-0. Bournemouth are 2-0 up at Sheffield United. It is goalless between Luton and Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 2. And at St James's Park, Newcastle 1, Chelsea 1. And given the number of 70s references in the first half, let's go back to little and large.
Is he calling you large?
I'll have words with him.
Well, your timing is absolutely impeccable, Mark, as we're back underway. And straight away, Chelsea were on the attack, and it was Nicholas Jackson who was just, I think there was a stray arm by Lascelles who's gone to ground just outside the area, and Lascelles has been shown a yellow card. So that's the 3rd yellow card to Newcastle United. Jackson is still at the moment lying flat on his back as they attack the Leesy's end, playing from right to left as we look. No changes made by either side.
Well, Raheem Sterling is on the ball again, and it's a very, very similar position from where he scored in the first half, and I'm sure he'll be favoured to take this.
Yep, it was Raheem Sterling's direct free kick that levelled matters in the 23rd minute after Isak's turn and shot had put Newcastle ahead. So as you've just joined us here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds and the World Service, 60 seconds into the second half after the restart, Chelsea awarded this free kick, and as you say, we've got James and Sterling standing over it. Thiago Silva once again with he's using his influence, I think, really about the wall. There's 2 Chelsea players at the end of the Newcastle wall, and he is sort of like the director to Enzo Fernandez and to Nicholas Jackson. Sterling's walked away now.
I'll tell you what, Ian, if it was a left footer like Palmer, if you go around Joe Linton, there's a gap there, and it's a big gap, isn't it? You could get that in that bottom corner, and I don't think Pope would know a lot about it, but they're going with James.
They are going with James. This direct free kick, left of centre. Reece James to take it. Runs up now, right-footed, over the wall, over the bar, goal kick, and it means I can run through the 2 teams. As I say, neither side has made a change. So Pope's in goal. It's a back 4 of Trippier, Lascelles, Cher and Livramento. Trippier's 500th club career appearance. Miley, Guimaraes and Joe Linton in the midfield. Almiron, Isak the goal scorer, and Gordon the front 3. For Chelsea in the all-royal blue, Sanchez in goal. James, his 200th club career appearance. Badia Shield, first Premier League outing of the campaign, alongside Thiago Silva. Cucurella at left back. Ugo Chukwu, Fernandez and Gallagher in the midfield. Palmer, Sterling and Nicholas Jackson, who's more yellow cards, 7 than 6 goals in his 11 Premier League outings. 3 minutes into the second half. Newcastle United, black and white striped shirts, black shorts, on this chilly evening in Tyneside, have been awarded a free kick, but there is a delay because Guimaraes is now down on his knees. We'll go to Bramall Lane. John Bennett.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2. The home side were awful in the first half, so 2 changes at half time. McBurney and Ahmed Hodzic both on. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 2.
Thank you, John. Forest 1, Brighton 2, Luton Crystal Palace 0-0, Burnley 1, West Ham United 0. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. was the results in the early game. Our next commentary, Brentford-Arsenal, is at 5:30. Newcastle go long with Trippier. Comes off the head of Badiashile. Headed away by Cucurella. Lifted forward then by Guimaraes. Gordon, flag stays down for the time being, is forced out wide, far side the left. Running in front of the east stand here at St James's. Newcastle attacking down the hill now in this second half. Guimaraes plays the ball back. Livramento at left back. Squares it to Lascelles. Trippier. Shares actually filling in as Trippier hits it back out towards Gordon. Slips after making the connection. Gordon comes in off that left touch line. Plays it towards Joel Linton. Out to Livramento. Livramento waits. There's a quietness around St James's Park as the cross comes in. Edge of the area. Trippier controls it. Side onto goal. Almiron pushes it to the feet of Guimaraes. Looks for the clip ball back over the top to Almiron. Chelsea's defence, then Sterling gives it away. Sterling has a second chance to bring it clear, and he had his heels clipped. No foul, says Simon Hooper. Trippier then had his legs taken away from him, and he's back to his feet, albeit hobbling, as then the referee signals a corner kick. No foul on Joel Linton. A goal at Deepdale. Sunny Ridwavajula.
And it's Preston 1, Cardiff City 0. It's Militant Osmajic charging down the fullback, bringing the ball forward and slotting it beyond the goalkeeper. Preston 1, Cardiff 0.
Looking for a third straight win. Our Preston North End. A shake of the head of Chris Watt.
Well, I'm just saying there's 4 people gone down since the start of the second half, and they're playing on grass unless we change the play on ice. But so many going down.
Corner kick to Newcastle United. 1-1 it remains. There's been another goal at Bramall Lane. We're going straight there after this corner kick that Trippier is going to take on that far side. Isak's just holding off Cucurella at the moment. The ever watchful referee Simon Hooper. Trippier delivers it with pace. The goalkeeper's fallen over and it flashes all the way through and behind for another corner. So John Bennett at Sheffield United.
This is getting embarrassing for the home side. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. A second goal for Marcus Tavernier, crossed by Smith, and at the back post he volleyed in from close range. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3.
Just before the international break, of course, Sheffield United had picked up 4 points out of 6, but Bournemouth on course then for their first away win of the Premier League season. Another corner kick for Newcastle. Trippier to take it, floats it deep. Lascelles misconnects it, still might run back towards Trippier, who left his foot dangling. Jackson then goes to ground. Referee has signalled another corner kick.
And it is, Jackson's playing it out, gone to ground, trying to get a free kick. See, for me, that's a booking. He should be booking Jackson there.
Another corner kick. Trippier has a word with the assistant referee. Pressure building, 1-1, St James's Park, 6 minutes into the second half. Trippier once again. Hits it long. Cher rises, comes out towards Gordon on the volley, down into the ground, appeals for handball, but it was outside the area anyway, picked up by Sanchez. Northampton Town 1, Cambridge United 0 is a latest score. And Swindon Town 1, Mansfield 1, so Mansfield have equalised. Trippier looks for the run of Joel Linton, and it goes through to Sanchez. Kel Surprise, the only goalless game in the Premier League, has been watched by John Southall.
53 minutes gone here. Ian Luton 0, Crystal Palace 0. Had a lengthy delay. Sheikh Doucouré has just been stretchered off the field. He just slipped as he went to pass the ball. Looks like he may have picked up an Achilles injury. Looks quite nasty. We hope he's okay. Luton 0, Palace 0.
Jackson finds Sterling. Sterling enters the penalty area, central position, looks to try and get his shot away, goes to ground. He was maybe looking towards the referee Simon Hooper. Simon Hooper lets play continue. Newcastle go up towards Gordon. Chelsea now. Sterling has stayed down inside the penalty area. That's why the Newcastle supporters are continuing to boo the England international. Shrewsbury 2, Port Vale 0. Bristol City are back in front at home to Middlesbrough in the Championship. Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 1. 1-1 it remains. St James's Park, lively atmosphere. Ball forward by Badiashile. Nothing wrong with Sterling now. Controls it out towards Cucurella, left hand side. Cucurella waits. Pass it to Enzo Fernandez. Goes short and square. Ugo Chukwu midway through the Newcastle half. Salford 2, MK Dons 2 is the latest score in League 2. Tranmere got a second at home to Gillingham, also in that division at Prenton Park. And Hull City have a goal back at Swansea. Swansea 2, Hull City 1. You're up to date 8 minutes into the second half, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, Chelsea, I don't know what Raheem Sterling was thinking. He was rolling around, he lost the ball, and I mean, he was never going to get a penalty for that, so game goes on. But it's quite even at the minute. I think that both teams have shown a lot of respect for each other.
Well, these two, of course, will meet again in a few weeks' time in the League Cup quarter-final at Stamford Bridge on December the 19th. Bristol City's lead didn't last for long at Ashton Gate. Michael Carrick's side back at 2-2. Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 2. Chelsea inside. Sterling, the return ball. Jackson controls it. Jackson just couldn't get the shot away. He was crowded out by at least 3 black and white striped shirts. Carlisle 0, Charlton 1 is the latest score in League One. In the week that Carlisle have had an American takeover at Brunton Park, and Preston are down to 10 men because Robbie Brady has been sent off. News of that from Sani Rugravajula.
Yeah, well, he got a first yellow card for dissent and a second coming together, not able to stop talking, it seems, and he's just been given his marching orders, just walking down the tunnel as we speak. Preston down to 10, but leading Cardiff by a goal to 0.
Updating the rugby, Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 22, Bristol 24, 52 minutes played. Alex Lewington crossed for Saracens' 4th and bonus point try, and a 5th attempt by Owen Farrell to finally get one through the post did go, but Bristol back in front after a Callum Sheedy penalty. Saracens 22, Bristol 24.
Thanks, Sarah. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Been a very stop-start, niggly nature in this second half.
I would actually think Pochettino has probably said to a lot of his players, you're not competing hard enough when we haven't got the ball, and they've started doing that with the forward. Just going back 5 minutes ago there, Ian, Sterling plays him in. He's just got to hit it. He has 3 touches when 1 is all he needs.
I think Gallagher's just been shown a yellow card as well by referee Simon Hooper. It remains 1-1. Northampton have got a second at home to Cambridge. Northampton 2, Cambridge United 0. Newcastle are going to leave the free kick taking duties to Guimarães. He goes back to Share that enables Chelsea at that point just to go and press Newcastle and advance 10 yards further down the field, but then Newcastle will look to beat that by switching it out towards Trippier. Passes the ball low inside to Isak, but he's been dispossessed in the midfield by Ugo Chukwu. Newcastle have now won it back as Lascelles steps out of defence and runs forward on this near side, the right, and he finds Almiron level with the penalty area. He's got Cucurella grappling him. He's holding him off, is Almiron, and eventually the two of them fall to the floor and it goes out of play, and it will be a Newcastle free kick. Goal at Fratton Park, Chris Wise.
Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 2. Karamoko Dembele is having a brilliant season for the Tangerines, using Pompey's defenders as a disguise, bending the ball into the bottom corner. The league lead is in big trouble. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 2.
So Bolton Wanderers looking to take full advantage of that as they've got a 3rd goal at home to Exeter. That could indeed take them top of the table as they look for a 6th straight win. Meanwhile, here in the Premier League at St James's Park, it remains 1-1 between Newcastle and Chelsea. Trippier to take it just in from the right touchline, attacking the Gallowgate end, playing from left to right. Chelsea have got that line just outside the edge of their penalty area. Sanchez is poised on the edge of his 6-yard box, all in green, leaning forward on his toes. Simon Hooper with the blow of the whistle. Cross, though, didn't beat the first man by Trippier. Headed out by Cucurella. Jackson has a little tussle there with Trippier, and it will be a goal kick. Colchester 1, Barrow 1 is the latest score in League 2. We've heard that Blackpool are 2-0 up at Portsmouth. The end, or it could be the end of that 27-match unbeaten run in League 1 for Portsmouth. Fleetwood 0, Stevenage 2. Hibs have got a 2nd goal at Dundee. That will please Pat Nevin, who says when we were talking about the socks that they're getting fairly stylish now, the socks. You know what we were talking about with the holes in the back of Gallagher's socks as it's cleared by Badia Shield. And if there's a man who knows about style, then it's Pat Nevin. Bradford City leading Accrington by a goal to 0. Bradford, who've lost their last 4. Graham Alexander looking for his first league win since he took charge at Valley Parade, so 1-0 there in League 2. And another free kick. We've had a number of free kicks in this second half, Chris Waddle.
I think they've had words at half-time, Chelsea, definitely, about being more physical, competing better, and that's why we're seeing a lot of stoppages.
Trippier goes long, little flick there by Joel Linton, just brushes off the top of his head, and it will be marshalled out safely behind for a goal kick. 5 Live. St James's Park, 1-1. It was a really good pace to the first half, wasn't it?
It was. Newcastle, I thought, were the more dominant side and more physical. As I say, I think at half-time Pochettino said, look, we're not competing enough. You need to put your bodies on the line a bit more and, upset Newcastle a little bit.
That yellow card, incidentally, earlier wasn't for Gallagher. It was actually, although it was he who committed the foul, it was actually shown to Reece James for delaying the restart. So the Chelsea captain was booked by referee Simon Hooper. Crewe Doncaster 2 is the latest score in League 2. 1-1. Burnley lead West Ham United by a goal to nil. Luton Town 0, Crystal Palace 0. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 2. A late turnaround at the end of the first half there for Brighton. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. Commentary to come. Brentford Arsenal. After Sports Report with Mark Chapman. All the results and the reaction at 5. As another free kick goes in favour of Newcastle United. And Raheem Sterling has kicked the ball away. And that act of petulance has resulted in another yellow card. So 3 yellow cards for Newcastle, 3 for Chelsea. Simon Hooper now has got Kieran Trippier in his ear as he wants to take the free kick quickly, but Simon Hooper's just saying wait. Hoops, as Jesse Marsh used to call him. You liked that, didn't you, at the time?
I did.
Here is Gordon, far side the left. Gordon with a dipping cross, header comes in. Newcastle United back in front. It's Lascelles making the run in behind. Alexander Isak with an unchallenged header past Sanchez. Jamal Lascelles, all 10 Premier League goals have been headers. That's another one to add to his collection. It's his first of the season. It's Newcastle 2, Chelsea 1, and straight to Nottingham Forest. Penalty, Pat Murphy.
Penalty to Brighton is going to be taken by João Pedro, having been hauled back by Chris Wood. A prolonged delay. VAR got involved. Just a reminder, it's 2-1 to Brighton, having been 1-0 down after 3 minutes. Let's see what happens with this penalty. Right foot, goal. Pedro makes it 3-1 Brighton. His second goal having come on as substitute.
3-1 Brighton, 2-1 Newcastle United. Chris Waddle.
Great ball in by Gordon, checks back onto his right foot on that left wing, just plays it in a dangerous area. A lot great decent pace on it, but who's picking Lascelles up? He's just ghosted in, nobody near him. It's a great header across the goal, and you've got to say Newcastle probably deserved that.
Chelsea though will certainly question the defending. Maurizio Pochettino serving a touchline ban would have had, not that he would have wanted it. Oh, that was a mistake. Let's see Joe Linton here. Newcastle United now have a 2-goal cushion. He couldn't miss. That was an absolute gift, and Joel Linton buries the ball at the Gallagate end, and Newcastle United with 2 goals in rapid fire time lead Chelsea 3-1.
Thiago Silva is the one who's the culprit. Don't know what's going through his head. He's such an experienced and he's such a great player. It just loses his bearings. Joe Linton's a little bit high pressed by Newcastle. As they push him back, I don't know what goes through his head. He plays a real sloppy ball. Caught in 2 mains. Joe Linton, give him credit, closes him down, and it's an easy goal. He just thumps it past the goalie Sanchez, who dives to his left, and he just hits it into the right corner. You've got to say Newcastle's been the better side.
He went to turn to pass it back to his goalkeeper Sanchez, and it barely rolled a foot, and it was an absolute gift for Joel Linton, who raced through to score his first goal of the season and his first goal since April. And what a week it's been for Joel Linton. Sent off against Argentina in that World Cup qualifier on only his 5th cap for Brazil. Back in the black and white of Newcastle United, and Newcastle now lead by 3 goals to 1. And you can't help but feel that it's been self-inflicted, not just with the mistake by Thiago Silva, but the lax marking for the earlier goal.
I think if you're looking at the departments here, look, caught again nearly. He's got a free kick. Oh, so lucky there. Yeah, again, Joe Linton on a high press. But you've got to say that Chelsea have looked weak today. Newcastle have bullied them.
Tranmere 3, Gillingham 0. Shrewsbury 2, Port Vale 1. Carlisle have equalised at home to Charlton. 1-1 in League 1. Peterborough 3, Burton 0. Lewis Miller's been sent off for Hibs as they're still leading 2-0 away at Dundee. Hearts lead St Johnstone by 1-0, and Portsmouth are down to 10 men as they trail at home to Blackpool. We'll now go to Luton Town. John Southall.
Luton 0, Palace 0. Good noise inside here. The home fans sensing something. Eze has gone off injured for Crystal Palace. Abene's coming into the game. Luton 0, Palace 0.
We can now go to Bramble Lane. John Bennett.
Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. Could be even worse. Two really good saves from Fotheringham, one from Semenyo, one from Christie. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3.
BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. And Newcastle United with a morale-boosting win after the international break to set them up for that trip to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday in the Champions League, a game you can listen to live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Let's get news of that sending off at Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
And from morale to morale, it's Joe Morrell, the Welsh international, second yellow card. Pompey still 2-0 down at home to Blackpool, and the mountain they've got to climb is even bigger now.
And from morale to Millwall, who have conceded a second. Millwall 0, Coventry 2, and Bolton have rattled in a 4. Bolton 4, Exeter 0. Newcastle United in the Premier League, only Liverpool 3 times. Manchester City and Arsenal have won here since Eddie Howe was appointed. They're on course for what would be a 25th win. And it will maintain that excellent run since he took charge in the Saturday 3 o'clock slot. 3-1, and Chelsea, who'd been going so well away from home, 3 successive away wins, only previously 2 wins in their 16 before that on their travels in the top flight, derailed here on Tyneside. There is no longer a goalless game in the top flight because there's been a goal at Kenilworth Road. John Southall.
It's Luton 0, Crystal Palace 1. Odsonne Edouard with his 6th of the season, denied by Kaminsky with his first effort, but followed it up on the rebound on the left of the area, 4 yards out. Luton 0, Palace 1.
Here is Gallagher. Chelsea looking for a way back into it. 3-1 down. Derby County, who've won their last 3 at home, are leading Bristol Rovers 1-0. They've just taken the lead. Notts County have got a goal back in League 2. Wimbledon 2, Notts County 1. 5 Live here at St James's Park. And Newcastle United with 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. Lascelles on the hour. No, in fact 2 minutes. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Joe Linton's goal officially timed at 61. From that Thiago Silva mistake.
Yeah, just got a free kick. Gallagher there, Shea going into the back of him, and it's a free kick near the corner flag for Chelsea. But you've got to say, over the course of this game, Newcastle have been the better side, more physical, played more as a team. Chelsea haven't relished the battle here.
You know, Mark Chapman made that reference about 70s game show, so we're going to go from 3-2-1 because it was actually in 1 minute for that difference between the 2 goals. Where's Dusty been? 3-1 Newcastle, almost midway through the second half. Free kick to Chelsea. They've been involved in some really a lot of goals of late. 4-1 at Tottenham, 4-4 at home to Manchester City, another 4 goals here today. Still a last quarter remaining of this game as Guimaraes on the counter-attack charges over the halfway line. He's got Gordon steaming ahead of him on the left. He finds Gordon, sliding back was James, and then tied it up by Palmer towards Sanchez. We'll go to Celtic now. Gavin Wallace.
About 70s game shows, Louis Palmer will wonder what he could have won. He's just missed a penalty. It was a fancy run-up that saw him stop, and Liam Kelly was well down to his right-hand side to save. It's still Celtic 0, Motherwell 0.
It's that goal didn't stand, John Southall.
It's been disallowed, a long VAR check. It's Luton 0, Palace 0, and they ended up with a handball against Edouard. So we remain Luton 0, Palace 0. Thought we had the goal, Dano.
Chelsea are going to make a triple change. Broja is going to be coming on, Mudryk and Caicedo. So Jesus Perez, who's patrolling that technical area, is just given his final instructions, with Pochettino, of course, that in the director's box with the ban today here after accumulating 3 yellow cards. Simon Hooper blows his whistle. So Caicedo, who was on duty for Ecuador, away to Venezuela and then at home to Chile. Can only imagine that was why he was not starting today. Mudryk and Broja coming on as well. So Ugo Chukwu is one of the players to come off. Conor Gallagher is another one. He of the Holy Socks. So Mudryk, Caicedo, and then Broja waits to come on as well. Nicholas Jackson is the other player who's come off. So Ugo Chukwu, Jackson and Gallagher off. Caicedo, Broja and Mudryk are the players who are on, as we go to Turf Moor and Chris Coles.
Burnley 1, West Ham 0. Burnley are less than 20 minutes away from their first points at home this season at the 7th attempt. As you'd expect, they're sitting deep. West Ham putting pressure on, but yet to really test James Trafford in the Burnley goal. Burnley 1, West Ham 0, 73 minutes.
Remember, that goal didn't stand for Crystal Palace, so it's still 0-0 at Kenilworth Road. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 3, Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. 1-1 was the result at 12:30. We'll be getting the team news very, very soon from our next commentary, Brentford Arsenal, at 5:30. That's after Sports Report. Peterborough 4, Burton 0, Newcastle 1, Barnsley 1, Bristol City 3, Middlesbrough 2 in the Championship. You're up to date as the goals as they go in. As a full moon comes into view in the distance over St James's Park as we look over the East Stand. Newcastle still lead by 3-1 against Chelsea. Palmer, Sterling, who's gone to the right, Mudryk on the left, now that Broja is playing through the middle. Sterling still being booed. Palmer on the ball now for Chelsea. Goal for Chelsea, they'd still have time to salvage something from this. Here is Cole Palmer. Goes short and square. Caicedo gives it him back. Now it's with Enzo Fernandez. Broja's made the run off the back of Livramento, right side of the penalty area. Keeps the ball in play, runs away off that byline, passes the ball back then to Reece James. Broja, right touch line. Back then to Reece James. Passes the ball forward. Sterling, easily dispossessed by Livramento inside the Newcastle penalty area. A red card at Cheltenham. Henry Moran.
Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0. Both sides down to 10. Oxford's Ruben Rodriguez given a second yellow sent off, and now Cheltenham's job just a little easier, hanging on. Cheltenham 1, Oxford 0.
Last season Newcastle avoided defeat in both the games. It was 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, and then it was 1-0 to Newcastle here last November, with Joe Willock getting the only goal of the game at St James's Park. That's having previously lost 7 of their 8 games, but here they are leading by 3-1 and a bit of a cushion. Notts County have hauled it back. Wimbledon 2, Notts County 2, Wrexham 4, Morecambe 0. And there's been a goal. Will it stand this time at Kenilworth Road? John Southall.
And listen to this place. Luton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Teden Mengi with his first goal for the club on the right of the penalty area. Poked it into the bottom left-hand corner. Luton 1, Crystal Palace 0.
So Burnley are ahead. Luton are ahead. Forest are behind at Brighton. Sheffield United are trailing 3 at home to Bournemouth by 3-0. 3-1 to Newcastle. Tomorrow's commentaries and 5 Live Premier League Sunday from midday. Tottenham Hotspur against Aston Villa from 2. Everton Manchester United at 4:30. The Monday Night Club, Conor Cody is amongst the guests with Mark Chapman from 7. Paris Saint-Germain Newcastle Tuesday, and then a double-header on Wednesday starts at 5:30. We'll be live in Istanbul, but after Sports Report we're going to be at Brentford, where Alistair Bruce-Ball has the team news at Brentford Arsenal.
Arsenal can go top with a win. Aaron Ramsdale in goal for them. David Raya can't face his parent club. Martin Ødegaard returns in midfield. Gabriel Jesus starts up top. Nathan Collins, Matthias Jensen and Mads Rørslev all missing for Brentford. In come Onyeka Godos, and there's a first Premier League start for the 19-year-old Ukrainian Yehor Yarmolyuk,
who we heard from Brentford sporting director Phil Giles ahead of kick-off. They really do have high hopes for him. That was a fascinating conversation that he had with Mark ahead of the kick-off as Gordon is tripped by Reece James. And Reece James is already on a yellow card. And Reece James is going to be sent off. Chelsea's captain on his 200th club career appearance is dismissed for a second yellow card. Chelsea trailing by 3-1 are down to 10 men.
Well, he's been very frustrated this afternoon. Probably the way Chelsea have played, let's be honest. He's such a talented player, this guy. It's a silly free kick to give away. He just trips up Gordon, who takes the ball away from him, starts running towards the box, and he's just tugged him and tripped him slightly, but he's on a yellow. He doesn't need to do it. Silly card, and he's off.
As he makes his way off, we're going to go back to Kenilworth Road because there's been a goal. John Southall.
It didn't last long. Luton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Magnificent goal from Michael Elise on the right-hand side, on the edge of the penalty area. Curled it into the top left-hand corner. Brilliant strike. Luton 1, Palace 1.
Newcastle United then against now the 10 men of Chelsea, leading by 3-1. And they've got a free kick over on that far side. We'll be going to Newport after this free kick. But Newcastle United looking to secure the 3 points. Trippier waits over on that far side. Must be 10 yards in from the left touchline. Chelsea are going to have to try and make a change. Colwell's coming on, flashes in now, repelled by the head of Thiago Silva, and there's a stoppage in play. So, goal at Newport, Sheridan Robbins.
And it's gone to Newport. They lead leaders at Stockport by 2-0. Shane McLaughlin, he's already got an assist. He now got his goal on the half volley. Superb goal. It's Newport 2, Stockport 0.
Colwell's going to be coming on. The player who's going to be sacrificed is Cole Palmer. He missed the England set of matches against Malta and North Macedonia with a shoulder injury. Lincoln 1, Barnsley 2, Swansea 2, Hull 2, Salford 2, MK Dons 3. And a goal at Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
And it's the end of the road for that unbeaten long League One run for Pompey, because Blackpool are 3-0 up. CJ Hamilton crashing the ball into the bottom corner against 10 men Pompey. Pompey 0, Blackpool 3.
Thank you, Chris. No other goals to tell you about. We'll be rattling through the latest scores in all the divisions very, very soon here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. But surely no way back now for Chelsea, Chris Waddle.
No, 10 men, and I think Newcastle have been very good today. The tempo about them, their attitude is first class. Physical, they've been too physical for Chelsea. Chelsea are nice if you give them time and space, but I don't think they've enjoyed the battle, especially the front four, front five.
The third sending off in Reece James's career, only the second in his club career. The other one was, of course, for England, but Newcastle United leading by 3-1 with a quarter of an hour remaining. Guimaraes 30 yards out, lifts it into the penalty area off the chest of Almiron, inside right channel of the box, waits. He's got Trippier behind him. Here is Trippier down by the byline. Lewis Miley makes a run off the ball. Almiron goes inside. Guimaraes passes the ball back out towards Trippier. Little touch there towards Miley with the cut back. Almiron with his back to goal, shields it, pulls it back. Guimaraes with a placed effort, blocked, and then dug out. One back by Guimaraes, still going, can't get a sight of goal, gets the shot away, blocked by the legs of Cucurella, who digs it out inside the penalty area for Chelsea to scoop it away. A goal at Leicester in the Championship, Aaron Paul.
They've blown the Watford house down. Leicester 1, Watford 0. Vestergaard's initial header parried away by Bachmann. There was Jamie Vardy to tap in at the back post. Leicester 1, Watford 0.
Here, Cher almost had a fourth. Seen him score from long range before. He came forward and fired it in. Might have.
That would have been a great goal. He went past two players with his left foot and was a fantastic save by Sanchez. But this could be 5 or 6, by the way. It's where it's going.
Livramento fouled by Cucurella, just too quick for him. And the Chelsea left back, the referee hasn't gone for his pocket on this occasion. Bolton have hit a 5th against Exeter City. Bolton 5, Exeter 0. Crewe 2, Harrogate 1. And you're up to date. Crawley 2, Harrogate 1. Read it too quickly. Cambridge have just got a goal back though. Northampton 2, Cambridge 1. And having not initially shown him the yellow card, Cucurella then complains and talks himself into the book. And so eventually he is booked by referee Simon Hooper. Got to keep the discipline.
I'll tell you what, Newcastle have dominated the second half, haven't they? And every time the ball's going to come in the box now, you think goal.
So a free kick to Newcastle United against the 10 men of Chelsea, which Trippier on that far side, the left corner of the area, is standing over to take it. Chelsea got every blue shirt back inside the penalty area. Jason Tindall. It's going to be Trippier to take it now, and it's headed away. Penalty at Nottingham Forest. Straight there now, Pat Murphy.
It's 2 Nottingham Forest. Thereby hangs a tail. It's 3-1 to Brighton. Lewis Dunk eventually sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity to Hudson-Odoi. Lots of scenes, lots of yellow cards, and that red card for the Brighton captain. And over the ball now is Gibbs White. The score is Forest 1, Brighton 3. It'll be a right foot effort from Gibbs White, waiting for Anthony Taylor. The beleaguered referee, almost every player surrounded him for about 3 or 4 minutes. VAR intervenes, the Brighton players incensed, as is Lewis Dunk, who is now watching proceedings from the tunnel. The referee checks that Verbrugge, the Brighton keeper, is on his line. It's 3-1 Brighton. Can Forest pull one back? Here is Gibbs White with his right foot, and he scores. Beats the keeper to the right. Can Forest get back in this game? Forest 2, Brighton 3.
Thank you, Pat. Hope for Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, Newcastle United against the 10 men of Chelsea lead by 3-1. Matt Ritchie's going to be coming on. There's been another goal in one of our featured games in League One. It's at Cheltenham. Henry Moran.
Cheltenham 2, Oxford 0, and Will Goodwin has got the goal that surely will see Cheltenham to victory in this match. Both sides down to 10. Cheltenham far the better side this afternoon. They lead by 2-0.
So it means that Bolton will be the new league leaders of League One, with the top two both behind, and Bolton going top in some style as they're hammering Exeter City. Guimaraes thought about the long-range effort, being tugged a little bit there by Sterling, but manages to wriggle free out towards Trippier, passes the ball towards Miley. Miley enters the penalty area looking to try and get a shot away, but there was Colwell using his strength. Then he's bundled over by Gordon, and that will be a free kick to Chelsea. So these are the latest scores in League 2. Wimbledon 2, Notts County 2. Bradford City still lead Accrington by 1-0. Could be the end of that four-match losing sequence. Colchester 1, Barrow 1. Barrow are down to 10 men. Crawley lead Harrogate by 2-1. Harrogate, who'd won their last 4 away from home. Crewe 2, Doncaster 2. Grimsby 1, Sutton 1. Newport County 2, Stockport County 0. The leaders of League 2 had won their last 12, but they're 2-0 down in South Wales. Salford City 2, MK Dons 3. Swindon 1, Mansfield 1. Mansfield could be the only unbeaten side left in English football as it stands. Tranmere 3, Gillingham 0, Walsall 0, Forest Green 0, and Wrexham have just got a 5th as they're hammering managerless Morecambe 5-0 to Bramall Lane. Sheffield United Bournemouth, John Bennett.
It's 3-0 to Bournemouth. You can see Sheffield United's frustration. The assistant manager Stuart McCall booked, Baldock and Robinson booked after a scuffle as well in the centre of the park. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3.
Colwell has been shown a yellow card as Matt Ritchie's going to be coming on, and it's going to be Alexander Isak, and this is clearly with Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night in mind. Commentary of that on BBC Radio 5 Live. We'll go to Turf Moor, Chris Coles.
West Ham so close to an equaliser, still trailing Burnley by 1-0. 6 minutes to play. Second half subside. Ben Rama finding space on the left-hand side of the area, bent it towards goal, inches wide. 5 minutes to play. Burnley 1, West Ham 0.
Matt Ritchie comes on for only his 4th appearance of the season for Newcastle United. So Bolton are the new leaders, or will be the new leaders of League One. 5-0 at home to Exeter City. Carlisle 1, Charlton 1. As we've heard, both Cheltenham and Oxford United are down to 10 each. They're a player sent off, Rob Street and Ruben Rodriguez for Cheltenham and Oxford United, as Cheltenham leads second placed Oxford 2-0. Derby County 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Fleetwood 0, Stevenage 2, Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 1, Lincoln 1, Barnsley 2. They've come from behind. Northampton 2, the 10 men of Cambridge United 1, Peterborough 4, Burton Albion 0. Portsmouth down to 10, trailing at home to Blackpool by 3-0. The end of that 27-match unbeaten run in League One. Shrewsbury 2, Port Vale 1, Wycombe 1, Reading 2. Reading could be on course for their first away win of League One, having lost their previous 8. Rugby Union update: Saracens Bristol. Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 39, Bristol 31. 76 minutes played. 7 tries now for Saracens, including a brace for Jamie George. Bristol do have 4, but the side story: England captain Owen Farrell has missed 16 points from 5 missed kicks at goal. It's still 4 minutes to go. It's Saracens 39, Bristol 31.
Mudryk picks up this loose ball for Chelsea. 3-1 down, out towards Sterling, right corner of the area, cuts inside. Sterling has got Caicedo as a square option, but he's just lost the ball on the edge of the penalty area, and Newcastle will get it clear. A goal at Kenilworth Road. John Southall.
Luton are back ahead. Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1. Lovely ball from Abene on the right hand side. Jacob Brown, the substitute, made the run and finished it off 5 yards out. First league goal for the club. Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
Under 8 minutes of normal time remaining. I'm conscious we've got the Championship, but before that I'll rattle through the scores in the Scottish Premiership, where Motherwell are still holding Celtic. Celtic 0, Motherwell 0, Dundee 0, Hibs 2, Hearts 1, St Johnstone 0. No goals between Ross County and Kilmarnock. St Mirren 1, Livingston 0. Newcastle now attacking. This is Gordon inside the penalty area. Shoots low and finds the bottom right hand corner, and Newcastle United warm up for Paris Saint-Germain in fine style. as they now lead Chelsea by 4 goals to 1.
Yeah, lovely finish. Great composure. Composure, brilliant. I mean, it's been so easy for Newcastle second half, and obviously James going up, it's made it easier again. But Gordon just goes in on that left-hand side, cuts in out his favourite right foot, shoots across the goalie, bottom corner. Newcastle have thoroughly deserved this today.
Burnley were leading by 1-0. There's been another goal at Turf Moor. Chris Coles.
Not anymore. West Ham have equalised right at the death to deny Burnley. What a moment for Divine Mubama, the 18-year-old with his first for the club. Kudos found him. Mubama tapped it in, and with 3 minutes to go, it's Burnley 1, West Ham 1.
Straight to St Andrews. Goal in the Championship. Becky Ives.
It's gone to Birmingham. 2-1 up at the minute. Jordan James, who's only been on the pitch about 3 minutes. Second time of asking. First shot was saved, picked it up, put it around the keeper. Is this Wayne Rooney's first win at St Andrews? They've got about 9 minutes to hold on. Birmingham 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Looking for his first win in his 6th attempt. Gordon has just scored his 5th goal of the season, and for the first time in his career, albeit his young career, it's the first time he's scored more than 4 in a season for Anthony Gordon, but he took it well.
Took it very well. It cuts inside his right foot, hits it nice and early across the keeper. No chance, bottom corner.
And now Newcastle, again with Paris Saint-Germain in mind, are going to be making a double change. Gummett's going to be coming on, and we're also going to be seeing Alex Murphy for the home side. So the 19-year-old defender, an Irish under-21 international, is going to be coming on for his debut as Chelsea up towards Broja runs through towards Nick Pope, who's been a spectator this second half, hasn't he?
Can't remember him touching the ball.
Djokovic has been beaten in the Davis Cup. Russell Fuller.
For the first time in Davis Cup singles, Ian, for 12 years, Yannick Sinner saved 3 match points, won the deciding set 7-5. So Serbia against Italy, the semi-final, will be decided by the doubles.
And you can watch that on the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. St Mirren 2, Livingston 0. Dundee have got a goal back against the 10 men of Hibs. Dundee 1, Hibs 2, Millwall 0, Coventry 3, a latest score in the Championship. Chelsea are going to be making a change as well with Madueke coming on. Still got the Championship scores to give you. We've got Sports Report on the way. Newcastle United, though, leading 4-1. And since the start of October, Chelsea now have been involved in 31 goals, most of any club in the Premier League. 17-4 and 14 against, as Dummett and Murphy wait to come on here. Madueke also. But Eddie Howe will be pleased how his side have responded after those back-to-back defeats before the international break.
Lascelles is coming off. He's been limping the last 15-20 minutes. I just wonder if he's got some type of injury for Newcastle. You hope it's a kick, it'll clear up. Hopefully it's not a muscular strain going into the Paris game.
There's been a late goal at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
David Turnbull stepped up to convert. It was a VAR check. Greg Taylor was pulled down inside the box, and Taylor sent Liam Kelly the wrong way. Celtic 1, Motherwell 0.
So a late goal, and eventually Motherwell's resistance is finally ended. So a debut for Alex Murphy, a 19-year-old. They signed him from Galway. He's come on for Newcastle United. And the player who came off was Almiron. So Alex Murphy comes on for him, and Madueke has come on, and it was Raheem Sterling who has gone off. So Madueke is on for Chelsea. 4-1 to Newcastle United. Colchester are down to 10 men, currently drawing 1-1 at home to Barrow. There's been another goal at Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
Another one for Blackpool. They're 4-0 up. It came through a flurry of bodies right in front of the visiting Blackpool fans as well. We can categorically say Portsmouth's 27 League One unbeaten run is over. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 4.
Bristol Rovers have got an equaliser at Derby County. Derby 1, Bristol Rovers 1. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining. If you've been waiting for the Championship scores, you need wait no longer. Here they come. Birmingham City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Could be a their first win under Wayne Rooney at the 6th attempt. Bristol City 3, Middlesbrough 2, and break off because there's been a goal at Turf Moor. Chris Coles.
Disaster for Burnley, jubilation for West Ham. They have stolen this in second half stoppage time. Thomas Soucek, back post, volleying home. Burnley was so close to their first points at home this season. It looks like another defeat. Burnley 1, West Ham 2.
That would be a 7th successive defeat and 3 ones on the spin for West Ham United. We're going to actually go to Huddersfield because it was, in fact we can, Lee Blakeman a goal.
Huddersfield have equalised. It's Huddersfield 1, Southampton 1. Ben Jackson on the right, sent in a cross which went all the way through. It had been coming, and with 3 minutes to go, it's Huddersfield 1, Southampton 1.
So I've given you the scores at Birmingham, Bristol City. I was about to read out that scoreline at Huddersfield, but elsewhere it's Leicester City 1, Watford 0, the league leaders through a Jamie Vardy goal. Millwall 0, Coventry 3, Norwich 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Plymouth 2, Sunderland 0, Preston North End 1, Cardiff City 0. That would be a 3rd successive win for Preston, who are though down to 10 men. Stoke 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. They're looking for a 4th successive away win. Swansea City 2, Hull City 2. West Brom Ipswich gets underway at 5:30. We'll have updates into our next commentary, which is coming up from Brentford Arsenal at 5:30, and a chance for Arsenal to go top of the Premier League. You'll hear it here on BBC Radio 5 Live after Sports Report with Mark Chapman. Bolton 6, Exeter 0, Derby are back in front 2-1 against Bristol Rovers, and we've got 60 seconds remaining. Wimbledon 3, Notts County 2, a flurry of late goals elsewhere. Colchester 1, Barrow 2, Lincoln 2, Barnsley 2, Salford 2, MK Dons 4. Newcastle are attacking left hand side, leading by 4-1 against the 10 men of Chelsea. Ball goes inside. Guimaraes looked like he was going to shoot on the edge of the area, out towards Ritchie, cuts the ball back, only partially cleared. Chelsea can't get out. Trippier puts it back in. Deflection will take it into the hands of Sanchez as we go to Luton Town and John Southall.
Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1. The board's just gone up. 12 minutes added time. Groans around Kenilworth Road. They're hunting the equaliser. Joachim Andersen on the left of the area, denied by Kaminski. He's been terrific this afternoon. Luton 2, Palace 1.
Burnley 1, West Ham 2, Luton are ahead, Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3, Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 3. Match of the day tonight, BBC 1. I don't think we'll be having 12 minutes of stoppage time here, but we are going to find out with the 4th official, who's battling and grappling with the electronic board. We're going to have 5 minutes, which we're now into, as we nip to Celtic and Gavin Wallace.
This happened the last time here. It was the late show for goals, and Motherwell have pulled one back. Shane Blaney from a corner. It came to him around about his chest height, and somehow he got in front of the Celtic defence and put it beyond Joe Hart. Celtic 1, Motherwell 1.
Guimaraes floats the ball out towards that far side. Just the odd Newcastle supporter now is just starting to head towards the exits to try and beat the traffic for what has been an extremely satisfactory afternoon for Newcastle.
Even with 10 men before that, I think Newcastle's been excellent today. Their attitude, the tempo, the way they've played, the tempo they've played out there, they've just been, Chelsea have been second best all over the place, and Newcastle thoroughly deserve this win.
Full time at Saracens in the Rugby Union. Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 39, Bristol 31, 7 tries for Sarries, who goes second in the table, but the scoreline flatters after the England captain Owen Farrell missed 6 kicks at goal. 13 points left begging. Full time, Saracens 39, Bristol 31.
Eddie Howe is going to, thank you Sarah, Eddie Howe is going to use this as another opportunity just to give some youngsters an opportunity to get a little bit of a run out. We're going to be seeing as there's a little bit of a flare up. Ritchie has shown a yellow card.
He deserves it. He should have got involved there. You're 4-1 up. You don't need to do that.
But Michael Ndewini, who's a 19-year-old, turns 20 next week. This will be classed as an early birthday present for the Throckley-born forward to come on and make his Newcastle United debut. And Amadou Diallo, who's he left West Ham in the summer of 2022. He was an unused substitute at Bournemouth before the international break. He's going to be coming on for his Newcastle United debut. I mean, in many ways, it's the perfect scenario for Eddie Howe, just to give them a bit of a run out. As noticeably, Matt Ritchie leading the applause for Anthony Gordon, who had that 4th fine goal to seal the win.
Yeah, he's looked sharp, Gordon, hasn't he? He goes in as emergency centre forward, and he does well. He's not a natural centre forward, you can see that, but he's got pace and he can beat a man.
And also Eddie Howe with his hands above his head, leading the applause for Lewis Miley, because the teenager has done well in the midfield for Newcastle today.
He's done excellent. big tall kid, isn't he? He's got to be 6 foot plus and very mobile. And he's playing in a team, Ian, which is full of confidence, which helps. You know, when you go into the team, you know, your Gumareses and your Joe Lintons and your Almirons are all playing full of confidence.
Gillingham have got a consolation at Tranmere. Tranmere 3, Gillingham 1, Stoke 0, Blackburn 2 is the latest score. You're up to date. Sports report on the way. We are halfway through the allotted 5 minutes of added on time here at St James's Park. It was a good contest in the first half, but all Newcastle in the second, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, and that's even before the red card, let's be perfectly honest about it. It has Chelsea on a counter-attack.
Madueke coming forward, running at pace, stopped in his tracks. And then the ball up towards Guimarães, tackled by Enzo Fernandez. Newcastle win it back through Ritchie. Far side, Livramento on the left. Bolton 7, Exeter 0. Exeter had lost 7 of their previous 8 games in League One, but that is an absolute hammering at Bolton Wanderers. And Swindon Town 2, Mansfield 1. So not only are Portsmouth going to lose their unbeaten record this season, a little bit longer if you think it's 27 games, but so will Mansfield Town, the last 2 remaining sides to be undefeated in the Football League, and they are behind. Swindon 2, Mansfield 1. Leaders of the Championship, Leicester City, penalty, Aaron Paul.
They have a penalty. Jamie Vardy fouled by the Watford captain and goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann. He's been sent off. Centre half Ryan Porteous in goal. This is quite amusing to watch, actually. He looked quite nervous stepping up, but he's about to face a Jamie Vardy penalty. Everyone just lurking outside the area. The referee blows his whistle. Here comes Jamie Vardy to seal 3 points to Leicester, and he scores, smashes it to the keeper's right. Watford 2, Leicester 2, Watford 0. Leicester heading back top of the Championship tonight.
Crewe 3, Doncaster 2 is the latest score in League 2. No other goals to tell you about. We're inside the last 60 seconds here at St James's Park, where Newcastle United 4, Chelsea 1. As the ball passed out from the back, Thiago Silva, and it really unravelled for Chelsea, didn't it? With that Lascelles header on the hour mark, and then within 60 seconds that mistake by Thiago Silva letting in Joe Linton, and then there was no way back as Mudryk with his pace skips away from Trippier, runs at the heart of the Newcastle defence. He's got Madueke out towards that right hand side, but easily intercepted. Colchester 1, Barrow 3. There is the full-time whistle. Newcastle United back to winning ways, but they continue their winning run at St James's Park. Those away defeats at Borussia Dortmund and Bournemouth before the international break have been banished. Chris Waddle.
Well, I've got to say, 2 teams played today. Newcastle turned up and Chelsea didn't, and take nothing away from Newcastle. They were excellent, professional, attitude, brilliant, and they thoroughly deserved it. Chelsea, I think when it comes into a battle, you've got to look at Chelsea, and Pochettino's got to look at this, how many people want to fight, how many want the battle, because there's not many in my Arsenal blue shirt today who are up for the challenge against this Newcastle side, and it was a comfortable win before the sending off. Chelsea, yes, they've had a few pats on the backs the last few weeks, but they're a million miles away from that top 4.
Isak gave Newcastle a 13th minute lead. Sterling with an equaliser with a free kick, but in the second half a Lascelles header, Joe Linton punishing a Thiago Silva mistake, and a fine goal from Gordon for the 4th. Throw-in James sent off for a second bookable offence. A miserable afternoon for Chelsea, but Newcastle United, the flags are flying at St James's Park. Newcastle United 4, Chelsea 1.
In League 2 last weekend, Notts County won 4-2 against Bradford.